allowed themselves to be co-opted into a stratagem to character assassinate a hero. That is what is being whispered around them. Viewers, the person they have implicated is a hero, a savior of the faith. In short, they are being guilted into thinking that they are pathetic and perverted ingrates. That's a lot to bear for a couple of teenagers, viewers. These girls could be our daughters or our sisters. Despite promises made daily to save betis from predators, the seer is being given an inexplicably wide berth. I'm not saying that the seer is guilty. I don't know. 2 minors have had the gumption to take on a person of this renown, knowing the consequences. Perhaps they've had probably a lot of time to think about the consequences, and they have deposed before a magistrate. They can't go back lawfully on their statement. They'll be tried for perjury. But it's been 5 days since the FIR against the seer was filed. But the pontiff is not only getting visits from powerful netas but also clean chits from them. It is quite sickening. It is also inexplicable because the seer has been booked under the POCSO Act, which necessitates the police to question the seer and arrest him without a warrant. That's the kind of power the police have. But this hasn't happened. Had you or I been booked under, God forbid, such a draconian provision of the law, they would have taken us within minutes from our homes or wherever and jailed us, perhaps even throwing the key away. Viewers, not one finger has been lifted. Forget about arresting, to even question this seer. In fact, if he is so holy and such a God man, if he is so imbued with conscientiousness, he should have just submitted himself by now to the police and said, look, question me. I have nothing to hide. I'm a holy man. Viewers, even that hasn't happened. Even that, perhaps, is asking too much as we stand, viewers. Why are we saying a long rope has been given to this Lingayat seer, viewers? There are reasons. The first, he's been charged for sexually assaulting minors. Grave offense. Charged of aggravated penetrative sexual assault. Section 41 of the POCSO Act mandates arrest without warrant. He tried apparently to escape but was intercepted in Haveri. That's the allegation. Relevant sections of the SC/ST Act have been invoked. This too leaves very little room for leeway, viewers, in the course of an investigation. 4 days have passed since the 5th day, 6th day unfolding after the FIR was filed. Seer has been allowed to go back to the mutt. Luckily, the 2 minors have now been moved out of the mutt. Viewers, fortunately, after your channel has campaigned relentlessly for justice for the minors, or even a modicum of due process, patience is beginning to run thin. From Chitradurga to Mysuru, protests over state inaction have intensified. Protesters surrounded the district collector's office in Chitradurga. Facing backlash, the state administration has made a few token arrests. We are being told the warden of the hostel, the chief warden, has been detained. The state has also issued a lookout circular for the seer. It's not as if he's taking off in a hurry. But it is a step, according to the government, that should assuage all of us. But the seer, viewers, is brazenly holding public meetings. He even held a press conference 48 hours back. Understandably, lawyers have filed a petition seeking immediate intervention from the Karnataka High Court. Petitioners have sought a court-monitored probe in the case, alleging that the investigation is not carried out in an unbiased, free and fair manner. And there is reason to suspect that the police isn't doing its job. Apart from the glaring lapses, the basics weren't even followed. What are some of these basics? They're on your screens. Madhya Pradesh High Court guidelines for police officials dealing with sexual assault cases states that investigating officers must ensure that no point the child victim should come in contact with the accused. But the victims were taken to the Mutt for spot inspection twice when the accused was present in the same building. How do we not know that they have been warned, threatened, cajoled? It also states that investigation of the case must be probed on a priority basis. But in this case, the seer has not even been summoned, let alone questioned by the police. So, no summons, no questioning, no arrest. The cops have interrogated the warden of the Mutt. Small fry. Listen in to the Chitradurga top cop who looks as if he has been poleaxed. Listen to this.
ಪ್ರಕರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಎರಡನೇ ಆರೋಪಿಯಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ ರಶ್ಮಿ ಅವರನ್ನ ವಿಚಾರಣೆಗಾಗಿ ಕರೆಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಸರ್, ಶ್ರೀಗಳ ವಿಚಾರ ಸರ್, ಇವತ್ತೇನೋ ಶ್ರೀಗಳ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಥರ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅಗತ್ಯ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ ಅವರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್ ರಶ್ಮಿ ಅವರ ವಿಚಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ? ಏನಾದರೂ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಉಳಿದಂತ ಆರೋಪಿಗಳನ್ನ
ಈಗ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಸಾಕ್ಷ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಕಲೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಉಳಿದಂತ ಆರೋಪಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Viewers, the warden who has been detained has spun a completely different story, saying that S.K. Basavarajan, the former administrator of Karnataka's Murugha Mutt, who helped the victims register complaints, is the one who has sexually harassed her as well as the children. We caught up with Basavarajan, the former JDS MLA, and he says it's a ploy to target him. G.B. Patel, a Lingayat community leader, the only one thus far, has demanded strict action against the seer, while a number of others, seers from the Lingayat community, who owe their careers to the pontiff, have backed the pontiff, saying that he's clean. So have several politicians cutting across political lines. First, listen into G.B. Patel and S.K. Basavaraj.
Sir, one question that I'd like to ask you, the charges have been leveled against you of hiding the kids, keeping them in captivity, kidnapping them. Do you agree with these allegations?
ನಾನು ಯಾವುದೇ ಪಿತೂರಿ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಅವರನ್ನು ಬಂಧನದಲ್ಲಿರಿಸಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಹಚ್ಕೊಡೋದಾಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಧೈರ್ಯ ತುಂಬಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಠಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅವರು ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಭಯದಿಂದ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ.
One thing I would like to mention here that we all expect Sheer to come out scratchless. That is one thing. But at the same time, justice should be given to the victim. Somebody who is alleging that I have been harassed, I have been raped, then one has to investigate that, no? That's more important. Whether he is a Swamiji or MLA or anything, our laws doesn't make any difference between the MLA as well as Swamiji or the victim, ordinary person.
Viewers, breaking news coming in. Times Now was able to track down the Chief Minister, Mr. Bomai, and we asked him a direct question. Why hasn't the seer been arrested? The CM was silent, evasive. What is behind this evasion? Is it compulsion? Let's listen into this sequence.
Murugha Mutt issue, sir, on the Murugha Mutt issue, the accused has not yet been called for questioning, sir. It's been 7 days. Sir, so far the accused is still not... Murugha Mutt issue, sir, on the Murugha Mutt issue, the accused has not yet been called for questioning, sir. It's been 7 days. Sir, so far the accused is still not...
Let's open this up, viewers. Let's ask some questions. We would have really liked the state government to have sent a representative to this program. The omission is glaring. There are others, of course, who are standing in. And I think that they are today not being honest with their conscience. But I'll let them speak for themselves. Let's ask Bhavna Ramanna, Naveen Chomal, Brijesh Kalappa. Let me first begin with Ms. Ramanna. Ms. Ramanna, I want to ask you this. It's been 5 days, perhaps even 6 now. A POCSO case, massive imbalance of power, at the heart of it, the future of 2 minors. We haven't even had the cursory attempt at probing this matter in a free and fair way. Do you think this is desirable? Bhavna Ramanna?
You think it has not been free and fair way? If it is not free and fair way, I'm sure there wouldn't be any FIR charges against this Swamiji himself to start with. And then if there is an FIR charges against him, and there wouldn't be any such hangama over the media too. And the third one is, if he is so powerful, if it has not been a free and fair way, he could have really run away from the place, the kind of position that he is actually in. So I think
maybe he doesn't need to, Ms. Ramanna, when the ex-chief minister of the state says people from the Mutt have conspired against the seer. Maybe he doesn't need to run away or even answer a question when Umesh Katti, cabinet minister of Karnataka, says it's a fight between a former MLA and Swamiji. Maybe he doesn't need to, because everyone, including you, are convinced of his innocence even before the probe has begun. And let me tell you, madam, I don't know if you're aware of the peculiarities of the law. Give me 30 seconds.
The humiliation, okay.
Ma'am, give me 30 seconds.
I will give you.
Give me just 30 seconds, please.
Yeah.
The allegation is not clear yet, says G.H. Thippareddy, BJP MLA of Chitraguda. Now,
Chitradurga. Yeah.
Yes. Now, just think about it, ma'am. Just think about it. Jagadish Settar, former Chief Minister of Karnataka. Swamiji is a religious head. D.K. Shivakumar, according to me, is a very noble man. The cases that have been brought against him are under provision of the law where automatically an FIR has to be registered. This is not some great reflection of an unbiased police. That's nominal. Should we not think for 2 minutes about the plight of the minors? I'm asking you.
We should, all of us. There is no doubt about it. But in the institution where Murugha Mutt has a lot of educational institutions, under that institution, there are many thousands of girls have taken a shelter for the education, which can really give them a very good life too. And the Chitradurga, a place, it is a town by nature, and it is a very different kind of politically it has a different scenario, and people of that place, they are like a lotus of the lake, because they are never touched by, or they are never influenced by such influences or the political influence, neither any of the money or any such thing. They live on their own. In fact, the poverty is much more higher, and it is, yes, of course, there is Lingayat community is much more in number, but also it is the land for backward communities, SCs and minorities as well. It is a place for everyone, and it is Durga itself. It's a name which means a bravery. So it is a place of bravery. So there has never been a lack of any such things. I'm sure that is what the Murugha Mutt Sri Gadu also reflects the same thing. If at all he was not brave enough, he wouldn't have really come out, and then he wouldn't be showing his face saying that I'm here to face all these hurdles in my life. He wouldn't be saying so at all. So it takes a lot for a man of that stature to stand against such odds and to say and to take and to swallow all that humiliation what has come on him and to take all that and then to come in front of the media and in front of so many people, lakhs and lakhs of people, because the Matha has a long history to it. It's not just standing on its own just in a day or two. It
He's
has
such a
seen
brave
a
man.
lot of people.
Such a brave man. What a brave man. What a
Yes,
brave
I will stand by my word, whatever I'm using.
What
you
a brave
can
person. What a brave
You can
person.
use it in a very
Of course, those
sarcastic
two,
manner.
the minors must be, as I said and I began, must be ingrates.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Then what are
I'm
we saying?
not saying that
Because
at
you
all.
said that he says that bring it on, I'll face everything. What has he faced?
Oh yes,
let
for a
me
man
ask
of that
Dr.
stature, it takes a lot
Dr.
to see that.
Ranganathan, what is the seer faced? What has he faced?
The insult,
Rahul, first of all,
the humiliation.
Ma'am, can I please? Thank you. Because it's a very serious matter and I would beg your indulgence to not interrupt any of the panelists. Thank you very much. Rahul,
No,
can I
I'm
please,
not
first
into
of
all that. Don't talk to me like that. And I'm nobody also. Today I've been called on this panel. I'm here. I'm nobody. It's absolutely fine. I'm no one to give anybody permission also to speak on. Please go ahead. It's Mr. Rahul who will take the in charge of that.
Can we please just concentrate on the debate in question?
Yeah, Ms. Shankar, it's okay. Let him continue. Yes. Dr. Ranganath.
Yes, Rahul. Yeah. So first of all, I want to thank you for taking this issue up. You can already see how this issue is proving to be contentious just for the sake of it, for preserving this so-called vote bank. There are two issues here and both are serious and merit going into, Rahul. Number one, it is the most abhorrent of crimes what has happened. And the seer or pontiff should be immediately arrested. I am aghast that he has not been arrested yet, even though the POCSO Act has been applied in the FIR. The BJP government and all its supporters should be ashamed. In POCSO, let me tell you, first of all, Supreme Court has said you cannot have an anticipatory bail in POCSO Act. Number two, an arrest has to be made within 24 hours. It doesn't matter if that person is very brave or a religious leader or a politician. I'm sorry. The arrest is mandatory. So cheap politicking on this issue must end. Therefore, I am all the more glad that one of the most vociferous voices on this, asking for the seer's arrest, is actually Mr. Vishwanath, who is a BJP MLC. Many from the ruling dispensation, shamefully, as well as the opposition that you mentioned, are silent on this, fearing loss of Lingayat vote bank. But kudos to Mr. Vishwanath. We have seen, Rahul, how when religious leaders are accused of rape, there is not only laxity from the legislator and the executive, but the general public as well. And the example is there in front of you as one of the panelists. Remember the recent case of the bishop? Now to the second issue. Rahul, 35,000 rapes are committed in India every year. It is the most heinous of crimes. Why? Because crime is identifiable by the possession of loot. But in rape, what is it that the rapist possesses after it is over? Nothing but his guilt, if at all. And that is why a rapist thinks of the female body differently. He has assaulted the intangible human emotion. Now I ask you, who are we to judge the severity of an assault on this intangible? Is one act of rape any less heinous than the other 34,999? Are rape survivors in Karnataka or Rajasthan or Maharashtra any less worthy of our attention and outrage than in UP or Kerala survivors? Emotional outrage can only highlight the problem. It cannot solve it. If we want justice, we must acknowledge that emotions have no role in delivering it. For justice delivered with emotions becomes vigilante justice. We need to deal with only facts. Rahul, by the time this debate ends, 4 women would have been raped. Rape incidence rate has increased from 0.3 in 2004 to 3.1 in 2014 to 5 today. All governments are complicit. Justice Verma report hasn't been implemented in full. Most of the 3,500 crore Nirbhaya fund is still unspent, even after 8 years. No one is willing to ask, how do you solve a problem when 94.6% of rapists are relatives or friends of the survivor? When 100% literacy state like Kerala has 4 times more incidents of rape than UP or Bengal. How? By lighting candles? No. By rejecting politics and cushioning of a crime and accepting science and data and by applying law equally to everyone, politician or religious leader or you or me.
Now let me tell you, viewers, the POCSO Act makes it obligatory for the police to equally focus on the rehabilitation of victims. Let me tell you what is expected. Victim is entitled to getting a copy of the FIR, adequate police security, immediate and free medical examination, counseling for mental, psychological well-being, recording of statement by women police officer at child's home, admission to child care institution if crime is reported at victim's house, immediate aid and assistance of CWC, staying away from accused. Staying away from accused. Now this did not happen, viewers, till about 48 hours back. This is written into the act. Also, viewers, let me tell you some facts. Arrest can happen without warrant. In other cases, NCPCR has stepped in and called for immediate arrest. In this case, viewers, look at what the chief of the NCPCR says. Priyank Kanungo will act if no action is taken on POCSO, have sought 7-day report from cops. 7-day report. I have asked for a report from cops. Viewers, there is something very wrong. Let me open this up further. Kasturi Shankar, the NCPCR State Commission for Children have asked the Chitradurga Superintendent of Police to update them regarding action against the seer. Okay, let's take it at face value. Clearly, if both these authorities have stepped in, it must be serious. If it is serious, why hasn't this seer even been questioned? Forget about detention, which you can do without a warrant. You don't need to go to any court to seek a warrant. You can go straight. What is happening?
What we are doing, what we are witnessing is abject mockery of the law of the land. Almost, we have sacrificed security of women and children. We have sacrificed the safety of the oppressed classes in a search, in a mad blind search for a vote bank. I think what the politicians of Karnataka, and let's not forget, it's not consensus. They don't agree on anything else, but they've all agreed that the two children who have come up against the seer must be mistaken at the least or lying at the worst, because the seer is a noble man. I can only remember Brutus's speech about, Mark Antony's speech that Brutus is an honorable man. Here, the seer Murugha Sharanuru is an honorable man, and therefore he is already proved innocent before even investigating him. Why? Because this is an insult to the people of Karnataka, to the Lingayat community of Karnataka, if politicians think that they can pander to their whims by actually pushing a sexual assault case under the carpet. And I'm talking about bravery. I would like to tell you what bravery is, madam. It is not bravery to sit inside the confines of your mud giving sermons from the balcony about your innocence, to protest your innocence to thousands of your followers from the safety of your balcony, and with the subscription of political friends and bigwigs. That's not bravery. You know what is bravery? Knowing fully well that in this country, the lawyer and the surviving victim and their family members can be put to death, can meet with car accidents. In Unnao, the lawyer also died. Yes. Knowing fully well that their entire family is at a risk of life, these two children have come up and they have come up with the accusation. If they were lying, don't forget, the entire state will be against them. They are facing the risk of life or death to come up against a huge and powerful man, and we are already branding them liars.
And I'll tell you, Kasturi Shankar is not wrong.
At least give them a free trial, at least give them a fair investigation.
Absolutely. A fair investigation is all that we are asking. We are not saying he is guilty. Neither are we saying what Mr. Yadurappa says. According to me, he said, people in the mutt only have conspired against him. Who is this Yadurappa? Who is he? What do you mean, according to me?
Oh, he has been
What powers, excuse me, madam, Miss Ramanna, what powers have been vested upon Miss Yadurappa to say according to me?
Oh yes, sir, because he has been a former chief minister and he
So
is
that gives him a special Sherlockian, hang on, does that give him a Sherlock Holmes-like intuition?
Not necessarily, but he
then
can always have the right to say
Who
that.
is he in the matter?
Him saying that.
According to him, who's asking his advice? Who is asking for his
it's
reaction?
Not the advice. He's been a former chief minister
and
twice.
If a former chief minister who is the putative head of the campaign for the Bharatiya Janata Party in the state of Karnataka is blithely coming out and giving a character certificate and talking about all sorts of other things, isn't he leading the investigation? Let me ask that
That's
question.
Because you have asked
Let me ask that
he
question.
He is not coming on his own and he is giving any kind
Madam,
of
I don't want to get into, I understand you're passionate and I'm not stopping you. Let me just ask the others. Okay, please. We are all convinced about our point of view. Kasturi Shankar is convinced about her point of view. You are, no one is. One second. Let's not speak over each other, please.
The path of law and the truth, let the truth prevail.
Okay, Ms. Shankar, 1 second, please. Absolutely. You're right. You're convinced about your point of view. Ms. Ramanna is completely convinced about hers, and they're entitled to feel convinced about their points of view. All we are saying...
Rahul, it's not for me to suggest, but can Ms. Ramanna not have that permanent smirk on her face?
It doesn't matter. She can have anything. She can smile, she can giggle. It doesn't matter.
Why is she smiling?
Forget it. Forget it. People are free to do what they want to do. Okay, people are free to do what they want to do. If that is what she chooses to do, let her do it. 1 minute. Let me bring it.
Absolutely. No, Rahul, it is insensitive.
Okay, look, a person, if she wants to be mocking, if she wants to jeer, she can. It's a free world.
That's not the topic here. It's not the topic about...
Exactly. I'm not getting into this. I'm not getting into this. Let's just 30 seconds, please. Everyone, please, let's get back to the issue. The issue is important here. The issue is very important. Mr. Kalappa, I want to ask you. A former chief minister says this is a complete conspiracy. He will come out of this clean. He commands respect across the state. What makes Mr. Yadurappa, before the investigation is even beginning, coming out and giving a clean chit? Is it the fact that the BJP got an overwhelming 87% of the vote share among Lingayats, who account for 16 to 17% of the state's population? Mr. Kalappa, you were in the Congress. You probably have seen from the other side. Today you may not be with the Congress. But still, can you discount this compulsion as a factor? I'm asking you.
Rahul, I personally feel that these character certificates which are freely being distributed to anybody, whether it's to the seer, whether it's to anybody else, has little relevance to the prosecution, right? And the prosecution, according to me, because I have been seeing the reports, of course it troubles me that the seer has not been arrested. Perhaps there is good reason not to do that. Perhaps there is good reason for the prosecution to act in a particular way. I don't know. I'm not aware of the circumstances. But from what I have seen and what I have read, I have seen that the children were presented before the magistrate, and I think this is a very positive event that before the magistrate, the judicial process has begun. The stone has rolled, right? So therefore, the die has been cast that first the students have gone and met the magistrate. Now, if the magistrate, in her wisdom, asks a question of the police, of the prosecution, as to why these arrests have not taken place, then the police would have been hard pressed to present an answer. Now, why the magistrate didn't ask that question is something which I have no answer for. Insofar as the various, the
Mr.
character
Kalappa, I asked
certificate-
you a very simple, straightforward question. Thank you for the larger perspective, but I asked you a very straightforward question. Do you think Yadurappa and others from his party and others in the Congress, etc., are all today sitting on the fence or perhaps favoring the seer because of political compulsion? Simple question, yes, no.
No, I don't agree that they
You
should
don't
have
agree?
given these character certificates, and these character certificates, in fact.
No, so what is the
at a
basis?
time-
What do you think is happening? Why are they giving, why are they all falling over themselves to give these character certificates, Mr. Kalappa? Is it politics? Vote bank politics?
No, they are highly insensitive at a time like this, because, there are two views, right? And then one can't go with one view entirely.
Okay, let me, you need to also get off the fence. Mr. Kalappa, I'm only asking you a straightforward question. Is it political compulsion holding them back? Yes, no. Yes, no.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think it's political.
Okay, political compulsion, says Mr. Kalappa. Now let me bring Tanveer Ahmed and Tehseen Poonawalla and Mr. Chomal. Tehseen Poonawalla, I want to ask you a question. You have often spoken for the Congress party. The Congress party came up with a slogan recently, Ladki hoon, lad sakti hoon. What do you therefore make of Mr. Shiv Kumar's statement, who is not some bystander? He's a very important player in Karnataka politics for the Congress party specifically. When he comes out, Mr. D.K. Shiv Kumar, and says, according to me, he's a very noble man. According to me, he's a very noble man. There is a conspiracy. Isn't this completely undercutting the Ladki hoon, lad sakti hoon slogan that Priyanka Gandhi came up with, and the emphasis that Rahul Gandhi gives to women's security? Recently he was attacking the Prime Minister for making a mockery of the statement, Beti Bachao. Tell me.
Rahul, good evening. Thank you for having me on the show. Good evening to all my worthy panelists and to all your viewers. Rahul, very often I disagree with you. I have disagreements with you, but I cannot today but applaud you for taking up an issue which I want to put across to the viewers of Times Now and also the viewers across the world, that very few media channels have the guts to take up. So congratulations to you. As much as I disagree with you, I respect the fact that you take up our press issues. So yeah, two, I am not going to be offensive. It is, I am appalled by what is happening in the great state of Karnataka by both the government and the opposition. And I do not want to make it political, but the opposition needs to stand up and ask questions. The balance of power is in favor of the pontiff. These are minor girls who are one from the SC community. Their pontiff should have been arrested. Is the law of the land, and everything is being violated. And the two most powerful people in the state, a former chief minister and a claimant for the chief minister's post, are protecting the pontiff. It is unacceptable. Rahul, instead of this pontiff, I dare say, if this was Tanveer Bhai, you, Anand, me, or Mr. Choma or Brijesh in the position of the pontiff, we would have been arrested, because that is the law of the land. I am embarrassed by both the BJP and the Congress who I support for not taking this head on. We have to protect our children. I still believe you are innocent until proven guilty, as does Anand also believe. But when the balance of law is in favor of the oppressed, not the oppressor, of the victim, not the accused, you must follow the law of the land. Nobody is asking for any special treatment. All we are asking, at least Anand and me, is for the law of the land to be followed. And for somebody sitting on your panel and laughing when a 15-year-old or 16-year-old girls were tortured, it says very badly about what they support or what their upbringing is. I'm embarrassed and I'm angry about it.
You're angry, everyone is angry. Everyone is angry except for those.
Rahul, I'm sorry.
One second.
I can't look straight up.
One second, doctor. Everyone is angry except for those that matter. Everyone is angry except for those that matter. Doctor. Yes, doctor.
I refuse to look straight at the camera. Because I'm having to withstand this laughing, smirking look. I'm sorry. I refuse to look up.
Yeah, it's not fair, Rahul. Girls are being harassed. You cannot laugh, Rahul. You have to be sensitive.
I have all the right to express what I feel like.
I am just saying, viewers, this is the evidence.
I'm not even smirking.
This, sometimes you must allow the truth to come out even if it means through a smirk. That's why I am not ticking off this lady. She is only exposing her bias, viewers. It is writ large.
Oh yes. Oh yes. This is how everybody has taken a right to talk about my culture, my
Madam,
upbringing,
please.
how I have been brought up.
Madam,
and
please.
What is that I have
Miss
done.
Ramanna, please.
Nobody
Let me
knows
bring in
about
Naveen
you.
Chomal.
They
Let
have
me
no
bring in
right to
Naveen
talk
Chomal. It's
about me,
okay.
including
It's
you,
okay. If you
Mr.
choose to make a mockery.
Including you. You don't have a right to talk about me.
Certainly hope that you are not representative of the Seer and his Mata and all those people that you claim to follow. Because it's unfortunate if they were judged
Miss
by
Ramanna
what
chooses to, you see,
I'm not here
viewers.
to talk about it. I'm not here to support a seer just for my selfishness.
Okay.
It's just that I come from the place. I have known him personally.
Right. Yes.
And I have also chaired Bal Bhavan, by the way.
Right. Let me bring in Mr. Chomal. Mr. Chomal, let me bring you in.
Children, not that I know.
We've got an ardent believer, and the ardent believer has.
With anyone.
We've got an ardent believer, and the ardent believer says everyone else is lying. It doesn't matter, and that's her point of view. 1 second, as I said, viewers, as I said before I began, certain people will have a certain point of view. We have to accept it.
This is how you're treating me here.
What is going on?
Of yourself. You're nobody to judge me for what I am.
Okay, Ms. Ramanna, calm down. Let me bring in Mr. Chomal. Mr. Chomal, let me ask you some straight questions.
People who are sitting and talking about the rights of the women, rights of the children, rights of everything, rights of the respect.
Dr. Ranganathan.
You are the people who are doing it.
Dr. Ranganathan, would you like to respond?
You have no right to do so.
You could respond.
Rahul, first of all, the matter is so serious. It involves.
Yes. So you should know what you're talking
Now,
when
please
you're
don't
talking,
interrupt.
to whom
I've
you're
had enough
talking,
of you.
and why are you addressing to me that?
Your continuous laughter and smirk. Number 2, you saying that person is brave. Number 3, you saying
that is my opinion. That is my view. I have all the right to give my opinion.
So I also
have all the right to give my opinion. That is my view. That is what I have.
Ms. Shankar, 1 second, please.
And you have no right to talk about my upbringing and my culture. You have no clue about me.
I'm sorry. What are you talking about, Rahul? Now
you said that. You said that.
He didn't say. He didn't talk about your upbringing, madam.
No,
don't play the victim here, please. No one has referred to your upbringing.
It shows what is the kind of culture that I come from.
No one is.
You don't know where I come from. I come from that place called Chitradurga. I have been brought up here.
Dr. Ranganathan said nothing. Tehseen Poonawala said something. Tehseen Poonawala, would you like to respond to Madam Ramanna?
Stop playing the victim.
I don't want any response from anyone. But this is not the way you people treat me. I'm not here for anything. I'm not here to please anybody. Not you or not any of your who are in the panel.
Okay, you've said your piece. Now let me bring in Mr. Chomal. Mr. Chomal, simple question to you. The POCSO Act, the way it has been designed, puts the burden of proof on the accused. Section 29 and 30. Specifically of this act.
Definitely.
Right? Definitely.
Definitely.
It also gives the police powers to arrest section 41 without an order from a magistrate or even a warrant. In your opinion, has the police erred in not arresting this year till now 6 days when the seer can within the mutt orchestrate a complete cover-up?
Rahul, I first of all like to say that I fully agree with you and our other co-panelists also, except Bhavna ji. Of course, I am on her side, but I am not agreeing to her views. I am in fact fully agree with whatever you are saying. I am on the same page. But let me try to put my little knowledge that I have of the law in my 27 years of practice and experience. See, kindly appreciate the law is very much in favor of protecting the girls in this case. But at the same time, our criminal jurisprudence has a particular wisdom that there has to be certain circumspection, especially in cases of arrest. If there are ramifications and there is a possibility that there can be a false implication also. So I am not defending the seer at the moment, but the fact is that the seer has also come with a defense that I have been falsely implicated. So definitely I am sure that we have got a strong democracy in our country, a powerful judiciary and a powerful fourth estate also, and a very active social media. So it is not going to happen that if this seer is found to be prima facie involved in the case, he will escape the clutches of the law. Law will take its own course. But at the same time,
sir, the law only can convict. 1 second. You can only have a conviction when there is evidence. When there is the basic fear. No, Rahul. 1 second,
Rahul,
Mr. Kumar, please. Mr. Kumar, please.
No,
I just want to ask you a counter question. Please answer me. Am I wrong? Am I right? Okay. Here, the dice is loaded. The crime has happened inside this mutt. Right? Who is the head of this mutt? It is a seer. Everyone reports to the seer. Evidence can easily be eviscerated. Witnesses, etc., if there are any, can be co-opted, intimidated. No one will even know. The police has not even gone to ask a question of the seer. Mr. Chomal, you tell me, is that right? The basics have not been done. You are giving us a lecture about whether it will be convicted or not, the law, blah, blah. A court can only convict if there is evidence. If there is no evidence left,
no, I'm not talking about conviction. Rahul, I am not talking about a conviction. I am talking about an arrest only. See, there are judgments of the Supreme Court.
Sir, forget the arrest. Mr. Chomal, can the police not even step in and ask a question? Is that asking too much?
Definitely.
Are you as a lawyer telling me
Rahul,
that the police has done very well by the victim by not even asking a question of the seer? Is that your contention as a man of the law today?
Not exactly. No, Rahul. Please give me 2 minutes of uninterrupted time. Please appreciate that each case has to be handled in a different manner. Maybe the police are collecting all the evidence and all their records to question the seer. Once they question him, maybe they will totally corner him.
The only thing that matters is a statement that has been recorded before a magistrate by the 2 minors. On the back of that statement, they can go and ask the seer. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty? एक सवाल तो पूछ लीजिए. Forget about anything else.
Other surrounding circumstances also, Rahul.
Okay, sir, you can keep surrounding us with circumstances.
Rahul, when the investigation
I fear today that given the fact that there is a beeline being made at the mutt with hundreds of people, politicians, a JDS leader, Virendra Papi, has visited the mutt more than once since the FIR was filed while refusing to speak. The JDS spokesperson is sitting right here before us, Tanveer Ahmed. What is going on? What is going on?
But juxtaposition to that, Rahul, now let me complete one sentence. Juxtaposition to that, there is also a allegation that one ex-Janata Dal United MLA has been behind this entire saga and he has been trying to...
Are you saying that the 2 minors who have gone up to the magistrate...
So not only the statement of the victim
girls, the 2 minors who have gone up to the magistrate... Excuse me, Mr. Chomal, are you today saying that the minors have would have risked so much disrepute, would have risked the security of their families to be part of some conspiracy? They have gone before a magistrate, sir. They have been examined by a magistrate.
So what, Rahul?
So what?
If you see the record, Rahul.
Okay,
yes,
so what?
Rahul, please
let me bring in Mr. Tanveer Ahmed. Let me bring in Mr. Tanveer Ahmed. Mr. Chomal, the next time someone is booked under... No, 1 second. The next time someone is booked under, 1 second. If I ever hear from you, the next time someone is booked under any of these sections of the law, including PSA, that the police haven't still arrested that person, I will replay your words to you. It's convenient for you today to take this position.
No, but in many cases...
Because you are playing to a political gallery. That's fine.
No, not exactly.
Of course you are. Don't fool us tonight. I want to ask Tanveer Ahmed. Tanveer Ahmed, you are from the JDS, you are the spokesperson of the JDS. MLAs of the JDS, leaders of the JDS are going there. The former chief minister, who's your boss, has come out and also given a clean chit. What is going on? Mr. Ahmed?
Rahul, firstly, I would like to quote what the great Saint Baswanna said, Satyada baladinda asatyada kedu nodaya. From the strength of the truth, see the weakness of the lies. I think here it is not about JDS, Congress or BJP. It is about the seer. If at all he is so strong and he has truth, why is he not presenting himself?
Because he knows that everyone around him has given him a clean chit. All those people that matter, including, sir, people from your party. That is why it is about the politicians. If they had melted away,
Rahul,
he would have had no cover.
Rahul, I'll tell you, Rahul, I'll tell you what Kumar Swamy said, and I would like to reiterate. Kumar Swamy said that political parties don't matter, the life of children do matter. And their protection matters. This is exactly words of Kumaraswamy. Let us, I'm not going to really say Kumaraswamy as a hero today, but the heroes are those two kids who have really endangered their life. See, as Bhavna was talking about Seer, I have travelled with him, I know about him, I have seen the mutt, the contribution of the mutt, but here it is not about the mutt or the Lingayat community, it is about an individual. It is an individual who is accused. And I think it is high time, even now, the seer should really present himself in front of the court. And all of us, let us really pray that he comes out clean. That would be the best thing, what would be for Karnataka and for Dharma. But at this juncture, people like Bhavna coming and saying that he is bold, he is strong, he is gutsy, and people, a learned lawyer saying that, you know, I don't know, this is not what we want. We want the protection of the children to be far more superior. Far more superior.
Think of the children. Their rights are far more superior to anyone else's rights.
Bhavna is a very sensitive lady. I know her.
Okay.
She was the chairperson of Bal Bhavan.
Okay.
She was the chairperson of Bal Bhavan.
Okay. Let her respond.
I have dealt with children, and I do deal with children, especially the girl children. I really think of them a lot, because I know what happens to every girl. Every girl has a story to say always in their life. Whether somebody is rich, somebody is poor, somebody has money, somebody has no money, somebody has education, somebody has no education, somebody has a caste power, somebody doesn't have a caste power. Every girl has to say a story. She will have a story of her own. But in this case, what is happening is, we still don't know. No one has questioned Mr. K. Basavarajan when he has spoken to the children on what permitted him to speak to the children, and where did he keep the children, nobody knows till today. And the person who spotted these children in Majestic of Bangalore, nobody knows who is the person who spotted those children. And nobody knows who was that person who has taken these children to the women and child welfare, and nobody knows.
Rahul, may I answer that?
That has been yes.
Hey, Bhavna,
Tehsil Poonawalla wants to come in.
Bhavna, have you worked with Vadanadi? Bhavna, have you worked with Vadanadi? No. One second, Rahul.
Okay, one by one. One second. Let Tehsil Poonawalla say first. Then you come in. Yes. 1 second. Yes.
Rahul, I have just one question to Bhavna.
It is immaterial who spotted the children, who took these brave girls, who by the way took a gate pass and went all along.
No, because what happens is, in that process, children can be influenced.
Okay.
In that process,
now comes in the response. Let me bring in Tanveer Ahmed. Tanveer Ahmed, yes.
They made a statement and
okay. Tanveer Ahmed.
Who are the person or who are the people who took them to
please, Tanveer Ahmed has a question for you. Miss Ramanna, Tanveer Ahmed has a question for you. Please.
Bhavna, you while you were working with Bal Bhavan, you know Vadanadi. Is it not Stanley and Purushottam the most respected when it comes to children? Every DCP, every ADGP, every commissioner in Karnataka, in Bangalore always says the best social service for the girl children is done by Vadanadi. Tell me, if at all you have any doubts and aspersions against Vadanadi, Bhavna, I know you very personally, Bhavna, I have worked with you. I have worked with you, I have a lot of respect for you.
The guidance of K. Basavarajan.
Okay.
Nobody knows what is the K. Basavarajan has spoken to the children.
Okay.
Nobody knows.
Now viewers, now there is an insinuation being built into this that the children have been brainwashed. 1 second, Mr. Chomal, please.
Rahul, let me
One second.
add one thing.
Let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, and let you have the last word, Mr. Chomal. Yes.
Rahul, I wish we had Mr. Vishwanath, who is a BJP MLC, on the panel. He is the one lone voice who's been fighting for those two poor girls. And according to him, and you know, you have a esteemed lawyer sitting on the panel, let me ask him, if it was as Tehseen said, me, or Tehseen, or Sir you, or Tanveer, or anyone else, is it not mandatory to arrest the person who's accused under POCSO? Yes or no?
Mr.
What
Chomal.
are you talking about?
Yes.
Mr. Chomal.
Why are we talking about
the arrest
what
can
happens
only be
where
done,
are the
but there has to be a
girls
circumspection,
where are they eating?
because there
It
are
is immaterial.
categorical judgments from Supreme Court also, where it is said that the minor children are very easily liable to be tutored. So whatever their statement is, that has to be taken with great care and caution. So what we are expecting is only great care and caution. I am fully with you. I am not against you. I am not saying any one of you is wrong. But what the police is doing is just a circumspection, a proper care and caution. I think they are justified in it.
Circumspection, because you see His Holiness is above it all. Viewers, the Holiness is above it all.
Assure as a lawyer to you all.
The politicians, the entire political class is backing him. The police are cowering in the state of Karnataka. Cowering, quaking, viewers, quaking. And let them sue me for saying it.
I don't think that
Dr.
it shouldn't be so.
Dr. Ranganathan, your response.
No, Rahul, as I said,
Rahul,
it is not about... Sir, please, you've had your say. I respect you're a professional, so please allow me. Please allow me. I won't take more than 10 seconds. Rahul, what is the bottom line here? As Tehseen has said, if it was any one of us, instead of the holy seer, we would have been behind bars. After that, what happens will happen in, as the lawyer said, judicial wisdom. But you have to follow the law. I am aghast that a lawyer would say that the law also has to be looked at. But there is mandatory arrest. But are you disproving Mr. Vishwanath, who is a BJP MLC? If you are, then say so openly.
Okay, viewers. We are at a very sad point of inflection. All these politicians, not everyone's status, all these politicians talk about Beti Bachao. They talk about Ladki Hoon, Lad Sakti Hoon. They talk about women emancipation, empowerment, rights. They give us the whole motherboard, viewers. The whole sermon. The whole 9 yards. But when it comes to walking the talk, this is what they say. Let me play out, viewers, and leave you with the last impression from their own mouths of where they stand on this issue, with the Beti or with those that are today the accused. In their own words. You think about it.
ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಮಠದಲ್ಲಿರೋದೇ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಷಡ್ಯಂತ್ರ ಇದು. ತನಿಖೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಸತ್ಯಾಸತ್ಯ ಹೊರಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲದರಿಂದ ಮುಕ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೊರಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇಡೀ ನಾಡಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜನ ಗೌರವ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳ ವಿರುದ್ಧ FIR ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೆ ನೋಡೋಣ ಇವತ್ತು ಅದು ಒಳಜಗಳ. ಬಸವರಾಜನ ಮಾಜಿ ಶಾಸಕ ಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳ ಜಗಳ, ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಗಾಡಿ ಹಚ್ಚಿ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಂಟಿದೆ. ಅದು ಏನ್ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ತಗೋತು ನೋಡು. ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಂತವೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಆರೋಪ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಪ್ಪು. ಇಂಥ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಇರೋರು ಒಂದಿಬ್ಬರು ಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
Yes, see, from childhood I am following this mutt. So it is my duty to come and meet Swami. That it will take take its own course. If they are really guilty, then see, unless it is proved, I cannot say anything. But unless, see, if you allow me, I will also go and meet the children also. But the police people and the department is not allowing me to go there and talk to the children.
No, because it is a religious head and lakhs together people, devotees for the Murugha Mutt Seer, and there is allegations and counter allegations also there. And Swamiji already expressed that is some vested interest. These all false allegations have been made. It is all, everything will come out only proper investigation.
I don't know the fact. According to me, I have seen that he is a very noble man who has done some great contribution to the state. Let me leave it to the, let me not interfere with the whatever the police or the government is doing late, because I can't only reply to whatever you are telling. Let me examine it, then I'll come back to you.
ಅಣ್ಣ, ನಾನು ಮಠದ ಭಕ್ತನಾಗಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು 5 ದಿನದಿಂದ ನಾನು ಮಠದಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನೇನಿದು ವಿಸಿಟ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿರೋದಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಓಡಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಬುದ್ಧಿಯವರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಆಪಾದನೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೂ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ದೊರಕಲೇಬೇಕು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡನೇ ಮಾತೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಪೀಠದ ಗೌರವ ಇದೆ. ಬುದ್ಧಿಗುಳದಿಂದ ಅದೇನು ಸತ್ಯಾಸತ್ಯತೆ ಅದು ತನಿಖೆಯಿಂದನೇ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಆ ಸತ್ಯಾಸತ್ಯತೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರೋ ತನಕ ಅದ್ರ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಷಡ್ಯಂತ್ರ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಅಥವಾ ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿದೆಯಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅರ್ಥ.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
All the top stories on the show tonight, viewers.
Amid a political slugfest in the national capital, Arvind Kejriwal won the floor test in the Delhi Assembly today. AAP MLA Atishi has sought time from President Draupadi Murmu to discuss Operation Lotus. In high voltage drama of Delhi Assembly, 4 BJP MLAs including Vijender Gupta were expelled from the house. In a shocking incident, a MNS worker slapped and shoved an old woman when she objected to a poster being put up in front of her shop in Mumbai. Amid speculations of Jharkhand CM resigning, Soren to hold key cabinet meet tomorrow. Patna court has rejected former Bihar Minister Kartik Singh's bail application in a 2014 kidnapping case. Singh resigned from the cabinet yesterday. Advocate Vinny Jindal has appealed to CJI for intervention in the Sonali Fogart murder case. He has written a letter requesting transfer of the investigation to CBI. POCSO charges added to the FIR in the Dumka incident after authorities found the victim was a minor. The police had initially claimed that the girl was 19 years old.
In a bid to nab the underworld don Dawood Ibrahim, NIA has now announced rupees 25 lakh bounty in a probe related to D Company. The price of a commercial LPG cylinder has been reduced by rupees 91 with effect from today. However, no change will be reflected in the prices for domestic cylinders.
Top of the world with Times Network. And you're watching Times Now.
The Newshour at 9. Presented by Aditya Birla Capital, co-powered by JK Tyre.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The decision to modernize madrasas have often met with criticism. This time, a huge row has erupted in Uttar Pradesh after the Yogi government decided to conduct a survey on unrecognized madrasas. The state government says that it wants to gather information about the number of teachers, curriculum, basic facilities with an aim to improve the quality of education for children studying at these madrasas. The government has said that the survey will be conducted in accordance with the requirements of the NCPCR. But the likes of AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi and Badruddin Ajmal see an anti-Muslim plot in this. Owaisi has called the proposed survey a mini NRC and said that it's an attempt to harass Muslims. Listen it.
हमारा मंशा स्पष्ट है कि हमने जो अपने मुस्लिम यूथ से ये वादा किया है कि उनको एक अच्छी शिक्षा व्यवस्था हम देंगे, उनको बेहतर भविष्य देंगे, उस वादे पे हम पूरी ईमानदारी से खरा उतरना चाहते हैं और हमारे हर कदम हमारे उस वादे की तरफ बढ़ता हुआ हमारा कदम है.
Why not such a survey is being done to all Vidya Mandir, Saraswati Shishu Mandir, private schools in Lucknow? Why not a survey for Uttar Pradesh government schools, especially girls schools? How many girls schools have toilets? Electricity facility, how much is there? This is a survey done to, it is a targeted survey against the Muslim community. You want to use those survey findings to harass them in the future, which will be a violation of Article 30. That is why I had called this survey a Chota NRC, a small NRC.
Ladies and gentlemen, probably Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi and company need to be reminded that not every reform that the government aims to bring in has an anti-Muslim plot attached to it. Look at what's happened in Assam. The Assam government has taken strong action on illegal madrasas running in the state. Madrasas with alleged terror links have been bulldozed. Terrorists posing as teachers in these madrasas have been nabbed. These men have been shielding terrorists in these institutions for years, and nobody had an inkling. Mr. Owaisi and Mr. Ajmal have been crying foul over the action on these madrasas too, but the truth is out and is glaring them in the face. Listen in to the war of words.
Our only intention is to see that madrasas are not used by any jihadi element. But if we got specific inputs on any madrasa, in the guise of madrasa, the institution is being used for expanding jihadi activity, anti-India activity, then we are going to take strongest possible action.
ये 100% इसके अंदर राजनीति इन्वॉल्व है, 100% इसलिए इन्वॉल्व है। कल मैंने देखा अगर वो 10% मुसलमानों का वोट नहीं मिलता है तो बीजेपी सरकार वापस नहीं आती है। तो बीजेपी सरकार हर वो कौशल करेगी जिससे मुसलमान डर के और बीजेपी के गोद में चला जाए, उनको वोट दे दे। इसके अंदर ये भी एक पॉलिटिक्स में हमको बू आ रही है।
But why the survey is needed? There are a total of about 16,000 madrasas in Uttar Pradesh, out of which 560 are funded by the government, while 479 crore has been allocated to them in 2021. How does this help? It gives a thrust and focus on improving the quality of education, helps regularize unrecognized madrasas, and will help the state for keeping a track on the data on teachers, curriculum, etc. Also, the question that now arises is, why is this being opposed? It is being opposed only for one thing, that this is going to lead to some sort of a scare in Muslims so that Modi can get a vote, extra vote in 2024. So the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is raking religion to stall reform the right way to go? That's the question and that's the debate. Owaisi Chota NRC Bagh. That's the hashtag and the debate on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate, Mohandas Pai, chairperson of Arin Capitals, Priyank Kanungo, NCPCR chairman, Abbas Haider, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Lokesh Jindal of the Congress. But my first question goes to Dr. Pawan Rao Ambedkar, national spokesperson of the AIMIM. And Dr. Ambedkar, I want to ask you, what in this survey scares Mr. Owaisi so much that he thinks this is all about a mini NRC? ऐसा क्या है इस सर्वे में? If teachers are found out, whether madrasas have teachers or not, if these schools are affiliated to proper boards, state or central boards, and whether children are getting proper subject training or not, what is so scary for Mr. Owaisi that he thinks this will actually be a mini NRC?
Madam Navika, we are not scared. We are finding what is the intention behind this government issue. The main point is that the CM of the Assam has said intention. What is the intention? Why he is not looking all the institutions beyond the Madrasa institutions or beyond the Madrasas? Why he is not looking? From where Yati Narsinganand has come, from where the people who have created the religious heritage in Haridwar, in Raipur, in Jantar Mantar, from where they have got the education, why he is not intending these institutions? Why only the madrasas? That's why we are circulating, we are telling that this is the situation where the constitutional provisions are not going to be followed. The constitution provisions of this country said, Article 26, Article 28 tells about the private religious institutions which can be run by a group of religious persons. Article 28 said, freedom as to attendance at religious instructions or religious worship in certain educational institutions. What it said, this article permits the educational institutions that are maintained by religious groups to disseminate religious institutions. So we are telling about the religious groups. In the same manner, some religious groups are running the Ved Pathshalas. About hundreds of the Ved Pathshalas are unrecognized, unauthorized. Still they are running in Uttar Pradesh. Why the government of Uttar Pradesh is not giving the order of survey to these institutions? Why? This is the question. That's why we are asking the people and we are calling the government, come forward and give the order for the survey of this Ved Pathshala institutions which are unauthorized.
Mr. Mohandas Pai, is Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi really worried about the fact that an NRC is coming in? Because the government has made no such reference, in the recent past, even mentioning the word NRC. Or is Mr. Owaisi really worried that Muslims may actually come out and vote for Modi, because all the schemes of the Modi government are religion neutral? These schemes, whether it is Garib Kalyan Yojana, whether it is the Ayushman Bharat, or whether it is the Kisan Samman Nidhi, all of these schemes do not ask you what your religion is. So is that the worry for Mr. Owaisi, or does he really want to keep the Muslim children, 1.1 crore of whom, according to the NCPCR report, are out of schools? And he doesn't want them to be educated, because then they will continue to remain a captive vote bank for these Muslim leaders. You're on mute, Mr. Pai.
Navika, you're very right. The Muslim community sadly has become the poorest community since 1950 because of leaders like OIC, parties like the AIMM, Badruddin, etc., who take pride in making sure that do not get a good education and they cannot come up in life and the economy is growing. Let me give some data. Let us look at college data. SC population is 16.6% of India. They make up 14.8% of students in college. ST is 8.8, 5.8% of students. Backwards of 40% of population, they make up 36% of students in college. Muslims are today 15% of population, only 5.2% of students in college. They are the poorest community. They don't get access to good education because they are poor, and leaders like OIC and others take pride in making sure they don't get good education by forcing the poor to go to madrasas where they don't get a good quality education take up in life. The quality of education in madrasas is not suitable for today's life. Yes, they must get religious education. They have a right. They can go there, but the religious education cannot substitute the need for a secular education too, as given to all children in school. If you look at the school dropout rate, you look at the school enrollment rate, the Muslim community lags behind. They need access to good schools. So we have the Right to Education Act, which says that every child to get access to 8 years of good schooling. Now, if the government of Uttar Pradesh wants to make a survey of all these unauthorized madrasas and make sure that they get a report and then decide what to do, what is wrong? They're going to make a study. Let them make a study. Let the data come out in the public. And if the data comes out in the public, let the government decide. If these people will protest, don't like it, let them go to court.
What will the government
now, all these people are saying that we should not even think, we should not even get the data. They are anti-children. They're against the Muslim community coming forward, and they're against the Muslim community getting good education. And Navika, let me give you one more data, Navika. Young Muslim people want a college education, want a good education. The enrollment in college has gone up by 7.7% a year from 2011-12 to 2019-20.
It is going up. There is an aspiration, but these people are keeping them backward.
Absolutely. And India is a country where the aspirations of the youth is the defining part of India. And I want to ask Mr. Abbas Haider. Mr. Abbas Haider, there is a Right to Education Act that was passed in 2009, and your party was part of supporting the UPA government when this act was passed. And this act, after it, Article 21A was inserted through the 86th Amendment in the Constitution. This act says that children have to be given education, and to give the education, which is a fundamental right to children between the ages of 6 and 14, the government needs to fulfill the promise by checking whether that education is being imparted in the manner it should be or not. Now, if that requires a survey to be done, my friend, what is the problem? Where is the problem? How does Mr. Owaisi understand from that this is, a stepping stone towards the government banning even reciting of the Quran or, worshipping in the manner in which the Muslim community does? Why is he spreading all of these fears amongst the Muslims in India?
There is contradiction in the government statement, Navika ji. Government of Uttar Pradesh have already said that they are going to stop any grant to upcoming new madrasas. So now if they are doing survey of unregistered, unrecognized madrasa, is the government going to give grant to those madrasa? Is the government going to take back its earlier order which stated the adversely? So my point is, madrasas in Uttar Pradesh, they give education to very poor students who don't even have means to go to a school. And we have seen the schools in Uttar Pradesh. There have been 50,000 schools which have been shut in the country in past 8 years. We have seen how schools in Uttar Pradesh have become stable for animals. I mean, the picture which has come up last month. Now the Uttar Pradesh government, they just want to divert public attention. I mean, if you want to contribute something, if you really want to modernize madrasa, you must be having a plan, roadmap. Why don't you come up with that? Why don't you tell people that you are going to do this for the madrasa? No, they don't want to do anything. They even don't have given 4 years of honorarium which was given to the madrasa teachers in Uttar Pradesh. This is what the state government have been doing, and they are just trying to make it a political issue. They are just trying to mix this with religion. See, there have been non-Muslim students who have got education in madrasas even today in western part of Uttar Pradesh and different part of Uttar Pradesh. The Hindu students are getting educated at the madrasa. There is a theology. Theology is one of the subjects in madrasa, but madrasa nowadays is imparting modern education. This is a reality. We have seen people like Dr. Rajendra Prasad and Munshi Premchand who have got educated in madrasa. So it's time we should not see madrasas with a particular type of lens.
Munshi Premchand may have got education. We've come a long way since then. We are in the 75th year of our independence, and today children definitely should have more aspirations of modern education and computers, and be connected to the world. But since you're talking about the sad state of situation in schools, let me show you this particular viral video last year, in September last year, which came from a so-called unauthorized madrasa in Aligarh. It's about 100 kilometers, less than 100 kilometers from Delhi, and this is the this is the video that came from that madrasa. Children chained, and in this particular video you can see the chains on the children who are in the madrasa, and this was less than 100 kimeters away from Delhi, but because the walls have been erected so high figuratively, nobody is allowed to peep in. The administration cannot ask questions. And I want to ask you, Abbas Haider, with a degree of responsibility. If you want children, and for me there are no Muslim children, there are no Christian children, there are no Hindu children, there are no Buddhist children. Children are children. And if you've been a parent, just like I've been, You would know that if you do not impart knowledge to children, if you do not put them on the right track with the right education, you can actually have them coming down from the track and going into different directions. I'm just asking you, as a responsible citizen, as a responsible parent, as a responsible adult citizen of this country, I want to ask you, do you not want that all children should have good education, proper education?
No, I want every student to have the best possible education. But the problem is, where there is no school, these madrasas are imparting education to those children. And I have a very simple point. When the government has already said that they are not going to give any grant to new madrasas, then why is the government doing survey when they are not going to help these madrasas?
The be all and end all of life is about grants, about money. You do not want the government to check whether the children are actually chained in the madrasas. Isn't the psychological situation, the environment, whether there are teachers or not? I mean, there are private schools, and I want to bring in Priyank Kanungo of the NCPCR. Priyank Kanungo, is everything only about the grant, the aid, the finances, or private schools and private madrasas? Should both of them have equal amount of control of administration, so that there is governance and so as there is standard knowledge that is imparted to children? Why is everything being made out to be just a financial support?
In this, मैम,
देखिए, मैं आपको एक बात नविका जी बड़ा स्पष्ट कर दूं कि जैसा आपने शुरू में कहा,
प्लीज होल्ड ऑन एंड लिसन टू द एक्सपर्ट्स.
86th अमेंडमेंट जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का है, जो आर्टिकल 21A के तहत बच्चों को 6 से 14 साल की उम्र में मुफ्त एवं अनिवार्य शिक्षा का अधिकार देता है, वो ये साफ साफ कहता है कि फंडामेंटल एजुकेशन राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट के तहत होगी. ये बात बड़ी स्पष्ट है. अब आर्टिकल 21A प्रिवेल करेगा आर्टिकल 30 पे. उसका कारण ये है कि आर्टिकल 21A अबोध मासूम बच्चों का अधिकार है, जिनके अधिकारों की कस्टोडियन सरकार है, और सरकार की ड्यूटी है कि उनको फंडामेंटल एजुकेशन मिले. इसलिए सरकार अपनी ड्यूटी पूरा करने के लिए मैपिंग करेगी, सर्वे करेगी, और ये रिकमेंडेशन NCPCR ने की है. हमने खुद ने मॉनिटरिंग अथॉरिटी की अपने मैंडेट को पूरा करने के लिए जब देश भर में जानने की कोशिश की, हमको पता चला कि 1,10,00,000 बच्चे उन मदरसों में पढ़ रहे हैं जहां ये पढ़ाया जाता है कि सूरज पृथ्वी के चक्कर लगाता है, जहां ये बोला जाता है कि अगर लड़कियों की उम्र 14 साल हो गई है तो उन्हें ऐसे स्कूल से निकाल लीजिए जहां पे मेल टीचर्स पढ़ाते हैं. ये सब एविडेंस है और रिपोर्ट में है. और यहाँ पे पैसे वैसे की बात तो आप बिल्कुल है ही नहीं. आप देखिए, SPQM स्कीम जो है, उसमें जिसमें मदरसों को ग्रांट दी जाती है, उसमें कुछ सैकड़ों करोड़ रुपए सरकार खर्च करती है, क्योंकि इससे ज्यादा ग्रांट लेने वाले लोग सामने ही नहीं आते. ग्रांट मदरसे 3 तरीके के देश में हैं. एक मदरसे वो जो ग्रांट लेने आए, उन्हें ग्रांट मिली, वो रिकॉग्नाइज्ड मदरसे हैं. एक मदरसे वो जो ग्रांट लेने आए लेकिन ग्रांट ना मिल सकी, वो अनरिकॉग्नाइज्ड हो जाते थे. अभी जो सबसे बड़ा काम किया है सरकार ने, वो ये बताया कि एक तीसरी कैटेगरी है अनरिकॉग्नाइज्ड मदरसों के अंदर, जो अनमैप्ड है, जो ना सरकार के पास गए, ना सरकार उनके पास आज तक पहुंची. तो जहां तक हम पहुंचे नहीं है, वहां पहुंचने का ये प्रयास है. ये 1,10,00,000 बच्चे किन विकट परिस्थितियों में रह रहे हैं, मैं आपको उसकी एक बानगी देता हूं. मदरसों की जो बैलेंस शीट का रिकॉर्ड होता है, उसे रुदाद कहा जाता है. हमने अपने सर्वे के, अपनी स्टडी के दौरान कुछ रुदाद का जो डेटा था वो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट करके पढ़ने की कोशिश की. उसके अकॉर्डिंग पिछले 3 दशकों में इतना डिग्रेडेशन आया है. 3 दशक पहले जहां मदरसों में जो कमाई, जो इनकम होती थी, उसका 60-70 से 80% तक बच्चों के खुराक और बच्चों के रहन सहन पर खर्च किया जाता था, वो घटकर 50% से नीचे आ गया है. और ये सरकारी इमदाद जो केवल सैकड़ों करोड़ की है, इससे इनका कोई वास्ता नहीं है. मैं आपको फंड का असली खेल बताता हूं यहाँ पे, जिसके लिए बदरुद्दीन अजमल साहब जो अभी बोल रहे थे, बदरुद्दीन अजमल साहब के खुद के मदरसा जो अनरजिस्टर्ड ऑर्फनेज की तरह वो चला रहे थे आसाम में, जब हमने वहां पे इंस्पेक्शन किया, आप यकीन नहीं मानेंगी, वहां पे बच्चों को गाय को ज़िबा करना सिखाया जाता था। वहां से 250 बच्चों का डेटा गायब मिला। अल कायदा से संबंध रखने के आरोप में जिस एनजीओ को टर्की की एजेंसीज ने जांच किया था, उस एजेंसी को बच्चों का डेटा भेजा जा रहा था और करोड़ों रुपए की फंडिंग वहां से आ रही थी। असुद्दीन ओवैसी साहब जो बात कह रहे हैं, खुद को संविधान का बड़ा मर्मज्ञ बताते हैं, ज्ञाता बताते हैं, वो ये बात साफ करें कि अबोध बच्चों का संवैधानिक अधिकार सरकार नहीं देगी तो कौन देगा, जबकि कम्युनिटी फेल हो गई। कम्युनिटी इस मायने में फेल हो गई, ईद उल फितर पे फितरा की रकम जो डोनेशन के रूप में मदरसों को जाती है, बड़ा हिस्सा मदरसों को जाता है, गरीब से गरीब मुसलमान देता है, 1000 करोड़ है। ईद उल जुहा में जो जानवर सैक्रिफाइस किए जाते हैं, उनकी जो स्किन होती है, खाल होती है, वो मदरसों को डोनेशन में जाती है और उसकी कीमत लगभग 1000 से 1200 करोड़ रुपए है। अगर हम बेयर मिनिमम पर काउंट करते हैं तो 8 से 10,000 करोड़ की ज़कात जो देश में इकट्ठी होती है, उसका एक बड़ा हिस्सा मदरसों को जाता है। तो ये जो बड़े बड़े लोग कौम के रहनुमा बनते हैं, उनका असली इंटरेस्ट कौम के इकट्ठे होने वाले इस पैसे में है, बच्चों में इनका कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है। क्योंकि अगर ये बच्चे पढ़ गए, अगर ये देखिए, ये भारत में
very important point being made, very important point being made there by Mr. Kanungo. Mr. Kanungo has made a very important point. Ishkaran, before I come to you, Mr. Ambedkar is raising his hand. Mr. Ambedkar, क्या खेला यही नहीं है? असल में सब पैसे का खेला है।
नो, मैं प्रियांक जी के एक एक सवाल का जवाब देता हूं। प्रियांक जी ने बहुत ही बेहतरीन एनालिसिस की है मदरसा पर। अब मैं आता हूं एक एक बिंदु पर। इन्होंने बताया कि आर्टिकल 21 प्रिवेल करेगा आर्टिकल 30 पर। आर्टिकल 28 क्या कहता है? मैं इसीलिए कह रहा हूं आर्टिकल 26 और 28 को पहले क्लियरली पढ़िए, तब जाके एनालिसिस पूरी होगी। दूसरी बात, इन्होंने फंडिंग की बात कही है। इस्कॉन एक सबसे बड़ा यहां इस देश में जो है संस्थान है, जहां पर एक्टिविटीज होती हैं, आप उनको भी देखिए। मैं बार बार दिखा रहा हूं कि प्रियांक जी इन 100 वेद पाठशालाओं का भी विश्लेषण कर लीजिए। उत्तर प्रदेश में ही है, पूरे देश में आपको जाने की जरूरत नहीं होगी। इनको फंड कौन करता है और कहां से फंड आता है, इसके बारे में भी एनालिसिस करिएगा, तब एनसीपीसीआर की जो है ना रिपोर्ट पूरी नजर आएगी। आपने कहा कि क्वालिटी एजुकेशन, डेफिनेटली वी वांट द क्वालिटी एजुकेशन। क्वालिटी एजुकेशन अगर आपको देखना है तो उत्तर प्रदेश के जौनपुर में जाइए। 4 दिन पहले की घटना है जहां पर टीचर कहता है तुम जैसे चमारों को हम पढ़ाएंगे नहीं। ये क्वालिटी एजुकेशन है। अगर और आपको जानना है तो और भी आप देखिए उत्तर प्रदेश में
असंवैधानिक आपने बोला। आई एम सॉरी, यू कैन नॉट यूज दैट वर्ड ऑन अ नेशनल चैनल, मिस्टर पवन राव अम्बेडकर। आई एम सॉरी, ऑन अ नेशनल चैनल व्हेन यू सिट एंड यूज सच वर्ड्स व्हिच आर एब्सोल्युटली अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, you only want to incite. On one hand you want to incite, on the other you want to spread fear, and that is the only agenda that is being served here. Mr. Pavan Rao Ambedkar, I am sorry, you have to apologize. You cannot repeat that. If there is a viral video, I don't know if it is authenticated or not, you cannot repeat such a word on a national channel, Mr. Ambedkar. Either you apologize or take back your words, because I cannot allow this. I don't want to hear any unverified video, my friend. I will not allow you to run an unverified video on air, Mr. Ambedkar. Mr. Ambedkar, your attempt is to incite, and I will not give you a platform to incite anybody here. Please lower his fader till he decides, and you can let me know when he decides to apologize for the word that he has used. But lower his fader. I want to get in Ishkaran Bhandari. Ishkaran Bhandari. For them, everything is political and everything has to be divided into some religious issue. I'm saying here, isn't this about children? Are children to be looked at as Muslim children, Hindu children, Buddhist children, Christian children, or are children and their futures to be secured by a nation 75 years after its independence?
Navika ji, constitution that is being read, I hope we had read it fully, because under public order, health, morality, certain regulations can be passed. So let us be very clear on that. What you are showing, children in chains, definitely comes under that category. But let's leave that aside for a second. There is an extremely dangerous ecosystem in Bharat which believes that the law of Bharat don't apply to them. Whether it be in Jammu Kashmir that they will get protection of Article 370, or whether it be if the Supreme Court passes a Shah Bano judgment, they will get it overturned when the government is favorable, or whether it be that the schools in Karnataka cannot decide what uniform should be universally applicable to students, or whether it be when the government wants to uplift the status of women and prevent triple talaqs, which is a practice banned in most countries of the world, then also the same card comes in, or whether it be in Assam, where state was funding madrasas which were doing religious teaching, wholly barred, and Himanta Biswa Sarma as the education minister piloted the bill, then as the chief minister implemented the bill, which was upheld by the Honorable High Court. Incidentally, the school uniform issue also upheld by the Honorable High Court of Karnataka. So let us be very clear what we are dealing with here. There is an ecosystem which has started believing that the laws of Bharat do not apply to them, that there is a special exception carved out for them under which they cannot be regulated. There can be no legal argument which says an institution which has thousands of students studying in it cannot at the very basic be surveyed by the government to see whether the education is modern, to see whether the teachers are fit and qualified, to see what sort of activities are being carried out. Forget even education. Every aspect of life in Bharat can be surveyed by the government of India or the state concerned. To object to mere survey, mere research shows they are very, very scared what an official survey will bring out. Otherwise, they should have showcased that we are doing such a great system of education. Everybody should follow it. What is there to hide? Why are you running away from a survey?
Mr. Ambedkar, I'm happy to have you in the debate, but I cannot allow that until and unless you apologize for making a statement and uttering a word which cannot be uttered. The law of the land does not allow you to utter that word. If you are willing to apologize,
it means all the teachers of that school will be punished.
Should I first have to begin with you?
No.
You can file an FIR against all of those teachers.
No.
There is no place on this panel for any conditionalities, Mr. Ambedkar. There is no space for any conditionalities, Mr. Ambedkar. You apologize to the viewers of Time Now, and then you can go and file an FIR. You can go and file an FIR if you think that video is an authentic one. I am not going to give you a platform, Mr. Ambedkar. Are you apologizing, yes or no?
I am asking to Mr. Priyank, have you analyzed this type of issue?
Can you apologize first before I allow you to ask anybody any questions, Mr. Ambedkar? Just apologize. It's not a word that should be used in today's word.
Why that people are using in the institutions.
अगर कोई कुएं में कूदेगा आप कूदेंगे साथ में. अगर कोई गलत करेगा तो आप साथ में गलत करेंगे. If somebody is going and murdering, you will also go and murder. What is that kind of an argument, Mr. Ambedkar?
This is not my word. This is not my word.
If it is not your word, on this panel it was used by you. It was used by you, Mr. Ambedkar. Apologize, come into the debate and do your exercise of filing an FIR outside of the channel, but you cannot.
Madam Navika, I am telling the reality why the Mr. Priyank has not analyzed this type of issue.
Well, one minute, Mr. Ambedkar, since you have not apologized, I'll still keep you out. Lokesh Jindal. Lokesh, I'm surprised. Nobody on the panel thinks that utterance of this word should at least the minimum the man can do is give an apology.
No.
I mean, Mr. Jindal, do you think such a word should be uttered on a national television channel?
The context within which this word was uttered has to be understood before we can
context is fine, but you
also need to understand on which what was the overall issue in which.
Can we repeat? If the context is bad, can we repeat? Can we repeat the word? Yes or no?
I would still say that we need to understand the essence.
My
within which
friend,
this
we
particular
understand
statement
the
was delivered.
context, but can you use the word? Can you use the word, Mr. Pai?
No,
Mr.
word-
Pai,
the
I
word is
can't
not-
understand that the Congress spokesperson actually is in a double mind about
I'm
this.
not in a double
the
mind, madam. What I'm
usage
saying
of
is-
this word.
No, what I'm saying is, let the gentleman come out clear as to what was his intention and in which context he stated it.
My friend,
Allow him
any
to speak.
intention,
And if-
no
if he
intention
has-
will
if he
allow
has stated it in a wrong context,
utterance of
he
such
must
a
be
word
condemned.
on a national
Rather, I would
television
say he must be
channel
punished.
debate like Times Now. I'm sorry. I'm not so broad-minded, and neither is the law.
Why are you not talking about this issue? Why are you not talking about why the
Well,
Mr.
if it's
Priyank is
true,
not
you have
he is
shown
talking
a
about the
viral
quality
video.
education.
I
He is
am in no
talking about the
position at
quality
this
education.
point to
From where
authenticate the video
from where the
and
people of
understand the
Uttar Pradesh will
context.
get the quality
Please,
education.
Mr. Ambedkar,
How
I'm
the
sorry.
children-
Lokesh
how
Jindal,
the-
my
how the
question
students will get the
to
quality
here
education?
is, please lower the fader of Mr. Ambedkar, Nizam Bhai. Please, 1 minute. Unless he decides to apologize, I cannot allow this. Mr. Lokesh Jindal, we may appreciate the context and we may understand that something wrong has happened. We have your political parties, you can go and file an FIR and there are courts to take this. If you're sure that is an authentic video, you're well within your rights to go and file a criminal complaint. And I'm with you on that. But you can't sit here and utter such a word, and especially when we are talking about 1 crore and above Muslim children being kept out of school, kept out of formal education as stated by the NCPCR report of March 2021. It's a serious question. It's a serious question because this community has seen children being behind other communities, behind the national average. They are lagging. If attention is paid to them, and Mr. Kanungo made a very important point. He said that these are the third category of the madrasas to which the states have never reached. They exist, without any mapping. Where is the problem in trying to map them, bring them into the formal sphere, and also give minimum rights to teachers over there? If there are women teachers, they did not even have the right to have maternity leave, my friend. So this is not only about unrecognized madrasas, it is also about giving women their rights. Why are you overlooking or women's rights in the minority community don't really matter to the Congress party? Because we know what happened in 1989.
Navika, now this UP government, its education sector is in a pathetic condition. We all know the teacher recruitment scam, where more than 2,400 teachers were accused of having fake degrees. We know that more than hundreds of schools have been declared illegal. Out of 21 fake universities, 4 universities are in UP. And apart from this, we have seen that there was a teacher who was withdrawing 1 crore salary from UP schools, and it was not even within the reach of the state administration. The point is, if UP is really serious about reforming the education sector, it should begin with its schools first. Secondly, the Yogi government recently in May came out and it accepted a law that it will stop all forms of grants to madrasas. Now this is hypocrisy. At one point of time, you are talking about modernizing of madrasas. At another point of time, you talk about you are stopping the grants to madrasas. If really the Yogi government wants to bring about any form of reform in modernizing the madrasas, the grants have to be increased. But look at the condition of UP.
बस पैसा बोलता है, पैसा चाहिए पैसा. Not worried about education, not worried about anything. पैसा दे दो, बाकी चुप रहो. Mohandas Pai, do you agree? Do you agree that start with schools, don't start with madrasas? Appeasement number 1. And if you want to ask us questions, give us money. Put money on the table.
Navika, it shows the mentality of these people who have kept the Muslim community backward in this country for 75 years. Because they want their votes, they don't want them educated. The issue here in the debate is very simple. UP government wants to do a full survey based on NCPR.
So the UP government has the worst ranking of schools in India. It has the worst education performance across all the states. How can you expect such a state to reform Madrasa education?
Come out.
First reform your own home first. At least have your universities in place, schools in place.
Please tell this guy to keep quiet.
Lokesh Jindal, listen to knowledgeable people. It's not a bad idea to do that. Yes.
Navika, it is based on NCPCR, report. Let the government do a survey. Let the government come to a decision. If these people don't take the government decision, let them go to court. The law is very clear. Nobody is forcing anything. If you say you must not use being, you must not make a survey. This is ridiculous. This is the way these people
Absolutely. Ishkaran Bhandari raising his hand. I'm coming to you, Mr. Kanungo. Ishkaran, 30 seconds.
Navika ji, exactly 30 seconds. What is the survey going to do? It is going to see whether students have facilities of drinking water, furniture, electricity, toilet, what is the accommodation in which they are being taught, is the building safe, is the building unsafe. I cannot believe in modern India on national television, people are opposing a survey by government of these basic facilities which have not been covered. It is shocking to oppose drinking water, toilet for students, which the government after the survey may come to any decision.
Sir, when the Yogi government passes a resolution to stop the funds to madrasas, how can you expect?
Let them need to survey.
Mr. Kanungo, I just want to ask you, private schools, private madrasas who are not aided, can you please explain to these very learned people, do they have complete freedom? Do they not come under the constitution or the administration of the state government? Are they just free individuals that can float around in the atmosphere as if nobody can ask them any questions? Why don't you explain to them? Because they keep talking about the fact कि ग्रांट तो दे नहीं रहे हैं, रेजोल्यूशन पास कर दिया, तो सवाल क्यों पूछ रहे हैं?
देखिए, मैं आपको यहाँ एक बात स्पष्ट कर दूं कि ग्रांट की बात तो तब आती है जब कोई ग्रांट मांगने आएगा। मैंने आपको बताया जैसे कि कोई 200 करोड़ रुपए के आसपास खर्च होता है, मदरसा ग्रांट मांगने आते नहीं है क्योंकि मदरसा ग्रांट लेना नहीं चाहते। जो अनमैप्ड मदरसा हैं, मैंने सैकड़ों मदरसों में विजिट किया है, हजारों मदरसा जाने वाले बच्चों से बात की है, देश के सारे मुस्लिम पॉपुलेशन डोमिनेट करने वाले शहरों में जाके मीटिंग्स की हैं, तब जाके रिपोर्ट बनाई है। एक भी ऐसा मुसलमान का बच्चा मुझे नहीं मिला मदरसे में जो अमीर हो। देश के सबसे गरीब मुसलमान का बच्चा मदरसे में पढ़ता है। ये जो चैनल पे बैठे हैं, या जो ओवैसी साहब हैं, या जो मिस्टर अजमल हैं, इनके बच्चे मदरसों में नहीं पढ़ते, इनके बच्चे कॉन्वेंट्स में पढ़ते हैं, इनके बच्चे विदेशों में जाके पढ़ते हैं। देश के सबसे गरीब मुसलमान के बच्चे को ये शिक्षा से महरूम रखना चाहते हैं। दूसरी बात, जिस तरीके की एम्बिग्यूटीज हमको देखने को मिलती हैं, आप एक बात बताइए, ये बात आप सब जानते हैं, क्या बच्चों को पढ़ाई के नाम पे, अनुशासन के नाम पे पीटा जा सकता है? बच्चों को पीटना कानून में गुनाह है, भारत में ये अपराध है। मदरसे का इंटरनल नियम जो हमको लिखा हुआ मिला, मैं आपको वो बताता हूं। वो कहते हैं कि मदरसे के अंदर जो टीचर है वो बच्चे को एक वक्त पे 3 थप्पड़ मार सकता है, ये जायज है, और बच्चा चाहे तो जजमेंट डे के दिन इसका बदला ले सकता है। किस युग में ले जाना चाहते हैं बच्चों को? मैं आपको एक बात और बता दूं, आज के तारीख में सबसे ज्यादा मदरसे जिस सिलेबस को फॉलो करते हैं, वो सिलेबस औरंगजेब के जमाने का बनवाया हुआ है, एकदम रेडिकल बना रहे हैं बच्चों को। तो ये सब चीजें देखने और समझने की जरूरत है। और आर्टिकल 21A बात करता है सरकार की ड्यूटी की, और आर्टिकल 28 बात करता है बालिग लोगों के, समझदार लोगों के अपने अपने इंस्ट्रक्शंस के लिए इंस्टीट्यूट्स में जाने का। बच्चों का शिक्षा का अधिकार आप ना आर्टिकल 28 से छीन पाएंगे, ना आर्टिकल 29 से छीन पाएंगे, ना आर्टिकल 30 से छीन पाएंगे। अंबेडकर जी, मुझे शर्म आती है आपके ऊपर। बाबा साहब अंबेडकर ने कहा, शिक्षा वो शेरनी का दूध है, इसे जो पिएगा वो दहाड़ेगा। इस कम्युनिटी के जो लीडर्स हैं, उनको ये डर लगता है कि अगर ये बच्चे शेरनी का दूध पी के दहाड़ने लगे तो वो इनसे अपना हक मांगेंगे। सारी लड़ाई इस बात की है।
बिल्कुल, और आपने कानूंगो साहब जो कहा, शायद ये सच्चाई है जिसे कोई देखना नहीं चाहता। और मैं आप ही की रिपोर्ट से एक एक्सर्प्ट पढ़ना चाहती हूं जिसमें मदरसा के स्टूडेंट्स कह रहे हैं कि मदरसा में टीचर्स नहीं हैं. They don't teach us Hindi, English, Maths, Science or Social Studies. In fact, Nusrat Jahan, who studies in 7th standard, wants to join the police force in future, but she doesn't think she gets education for that. Education in Madrasa should include all of these, says Nusrat Jahan. Also, Nuzat Fama, she says teachers should be appointed compulsorily for English. We do not get teachers for computer skills, internet and general knowledge in madrasas. And in Jaunpur, Uttar Pradesh, there are teachers who say there are children who want to learn computers, but we have no teacher for that. There are no teachers for subjects of science, social studies, etc. There are 25,000 teachers who have not received their wages for the last 3 to 4 years. This is the state of madrasas, and yet talk about bringing them in the ambit of administration to find out what is the kind of education they are getting, and everybody is up in arms because they see it as a chota NRC. Is this fear mongering really going to steal the future of our children? And why are they looking at these children as Muslim children? They are the future of India as well. Everybody has to care for them. Mr. Owaisi, don't you agree? That's the question we are asking. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side, there's pan-India outrage over the long rope given to Lingayat Seer Shivamurthy Murugha by the state government. It's over 150 hours since the FIR was registered against him, but such is the clout of the accused seer that the state government has prostrated in front of the Lingayat Seer. The police is busy focusing on small fish, leaving Shivamurthy Murugha untouched. The state that hasn't arrested the main accused has issued a lookout circular against the seer, which many have called another token action. The cops interrogated the warden of the mutt but are still in two minds whether or not to question the Lingayat seer on this issue. Listen in to the Chitradurga top call.
ಪ್ರಕರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಎರಡನೇ ಆರೋಪಿಯಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ ರಶ್ಮಿ ಅವರನ್ನ ವಿಚಾರಣೆಗಾಗಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಸರ್, ಶ್ರೀಗಳ ವಿಚಾರ ಸರ್, ಇವತ್ತೇನೋ ಶ್ರೀಗಳ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆ ತರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅಗತ್ಯ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ ಅವರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್ ರಶ್ಮಿ ಅವರು ವಿಚಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ? ಏನಾದರೂ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಉಳಿದಂತ ಆರೋಪಿಗಳನ್ನ
ಈಗ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಸಾಕ್ಷ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಕಲೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಅದರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಉಳಿದಂತ ಆರೋಪಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Listen in to the Karnataka Chief Minister, who clearly is in a fix politically as well as because of the seat that he holds.
Murugha Mutt issue. Sir, on the Murugha Mutt issue, the accused has not yet been called for questioning, sir. It's been 7 days. Sir, so far the accused is still not... Murugha Mutt issue. Sir, on the Murugha Mutt issue, the accused has not yet been called for questioning, sir. It's been 7 days. Sir, so far the accused is still not...
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining me on the debate, Rahul Ishwar, activist, Namit Saxena, advocate on record in the Supreme Court, Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate. But my first question goes to Pratibha Prahlad, renowned artist and culture specialist. I want to ask you, Pratibha Prahlad, do you actually believe that it's been 150 hours, but charges are under the POCSO Act and nothing has moved in Karnataka against the Lingayat seer simply because the followers of this seer actually are a vote bank, and that's all there is to it?
Navika, we must remember that this is the election year. 16% of the vote bank belongs to Lingayats, and that is why you see all parties, whether it be the BJP or the Congress or the JDS, not taking any stand publicly against Shivamurthy Sharanu, the Swami who is accused in the POCSO case. The point is that they're all standing like a shield wall. Of a medieval army, all of them together, and it's a laughable matter, also one of very serious concern, because of the fright. I mean, all of them running like frightened deer just because it's an election year. I mean, they are supposed to be there for the public. On the one hand is this politico-religious group standing like a shield army. On the other hand are two disempowered young girls who are accusing these might and the force of the Lingayat Mutt of rape, and the police don't even have the decency to take this man in for questioning. And why are they not taking him for questioning? Because his anticipatory bail is coming up tomorrow, and he's waiting for to get an anticipatory bail, after which the police will make some sort of a perfunctory kind of a questioning of the Swamiji and then just let him be. In a POCSO case, the accused have to be arrested immediately, and this has not happened in the case of Shivamurthy Sharanu. And I really ask the Home Minister of Karnataka and Mr. Bommai to answer their conscience and get this man questioned and arrested, because he has to face the law, whatever it be.
Mr. Rahul Ishwar, we are talking about two minor girls. Two minor girls who have stated all about the sexual assault. Rahul Ishwar, we should let this matter go because the God-man is important for political purposes.
First of all, the Swamiji is not a God-man, but a good man. Just 2 months back, Ramachandra Tiwari of Kendriya Vidyalaya, who was in jail for 7 years, was left off after a fake POCSO complaint. The only thing we are urging is due diligence, having caution. Let Basavarajan or any other people not use this as a political conspiracy to defame the Mutt. And please remember, this is the not usual khatre mein hai kind of a template where we accuse other communities. Here, there is an internal power struggle that is going in the ashram that was in public knowledge for some time. So one person who was an ex-MLA, on whose house these two girls stayed for 2 days, he is using these girls, who is tutoring these girls to air out some allegation against Swamiji, because they know we will all be very passionate when a POCSO case comes. So let no one misuse POCSO. Let us have due diligence. Let the honorable courts take a call. Let us not jump the gun and create a prejudice against either the Seers nor the girls. On one side there is the Seer, on the other side there is Basavarajan. The girls should be respected. We are all for them. But Basavarajan should not be using the shoulders of young girls to fire salvos who he want to defame, demean and outs from the ashram.
Well, Sanjay Hegde, does the law talk about political conspiracy? In cases of political conspiracy, the POCSO Act can actually be molded in such a way that it can come into impact later. Does the POCSO Act also give some leeway that if there is an election coming up or if there is a power struggle within a Mutt, then the POCSO Act cannot be complained? I mean, do we have to look at these issues from the lens of the law of the land, or do we have to look at it from political and power struggles inside the Mutt?
See, all these arguments of Rahul are best taken at a trial if the matter goes to trial. Equally, they can be told to the investigating officer. The investigating officer can take his own decision and decide whether to bring the matter to a charge sheet or not. But I do not know of any investigating officer in a POCSO case who goes all round in circles, all round the case without interrogating the prime accused in custody. That itself is like in the Sherlock Holmes case, the dog that did not bark, which tells you what exactly the investigating officer is up to. And I must be thankful to Pratibha for telling me that, telling your viewers that the anticipatory bail comes up. So all this investigation appears to be anticipating a possible bail, and therefore you would have an excuse that, oh, we did not necessarily interrogate the Swamiji before he got bail. Look, if he had not been a Swamiji, if he had been a journalist, for instance,
why
do you
journalist?
think that this kind
Why
of
not a lawyer, Mr.
solitude,
Hegde? Why journalist?
Okay, if he had been a lawyer, do you think this kind of almost paternal care that the investigating officer is taking would be extended to him? Obviously not. And Pratibha did tell you that there was 16% vote bank in Karnataka, but what is also more significant is that 16% is largely concentrated in the northern areas of Karnataka. So it is much more than 16%, it is near 30%, and it is a winning margin. So yes, the BJP government and the investigating officers have been careful. I must credit a BJP MLA, Mr. Vishwanath, who has taken this issue head on and has told the Home Minister that if you cannot supervise your police officers correctly, then you please quit. It's rare that people within the BJP speak up. When I find one like that, I do commend him.
Well, I want to ask Mr. Namit Saxena. Mr. Namit Saxena, the question here is the law of the land. The law of the land in the POCSO Act is that there should be an immediate arrest if there are minor girls involved in this matter. I want to ask you, in the middle of non-action, we suddenly see a lookout circular being put out in the name of the seer. Because there is a hearing in the court and you don't want the court to come down heavily on you, so you have a fig leaf of the lookout circular. What does that really mean? If you're not going to interrogate the person, if you're not going to arrest him, just because you assume that there can be a political conspiracy, will the law be, can the law actually be twisted and turned in the manner that Mr. Rahul Ishwar says the facts are?
See, I must point out to you, an LOC, a lookout circular, is not something which is just a fig leaf in a matter of investigation. There is a complete detailed due process before issuing a lookout circular. So an LOC, once issued, it carries a lot of repercussions. One, so it's not something which is very mechanically done. One. Second, on the accused in this present case, apart from POCSO, there are provisions of the SC/ST Act as well. Now, when it comes to anticipatory bails, apart from POCSO, in prevention of atrocities against SC/ST Act, anticipatory bail is extremely difficult. The Supreme Court has held in 2018, Justice Arun Mishra's judgment, that only where there is no prima facie case, an anticipatory bail can be granted. And at this stage, when an LOC has been issued, there is no interim protection given to the accused. And the anticipatory bail, see, because also in anticipatory bails in POCSO, the court is duty bound to call the complainant or the welfare officer. The notice has been issued to them. They've said that they appear before the court and said we'll have to file our objections to this anticipatory bail. So that is coming up tomorrow. So in this holistic, if you look at it, that at this stage there is no interim protection, the custody can very well be taken if required. Now this lies in the sole domain of the investigating officer or the investigating agency, that whether they require the custody of the accused at this moment or at this point of time or not is one. Second, the accused, as I read the news reports, the accused has already subjected himself to medical examination. So custodial interrogation is required only for one, medical examination, which is already done. Second, if any facts or if any recovery is to be done from the accused, that can be very well done. Fourth, you're wrong in saying that in POCSO cases the law is that you have to immediately take custody of the accused. There is no such law. Fifth, as you pointed out the question to Mr. Hegde also, that whether this can be looked at from a political lens, yes. It can be looked at from a political lens, but that is not the criteria to either decide anticipatory bail or to conduct an investigation. That is completely separate. The IO, the investigating officer, may take a view that there may be some planted evidence, there may be
Sanjay Hegde, you want to respond to that? He says the POCSO Act does not require immediate custody.
The first thing that the investigating officers normally in practice do is to take the accused in custody, because after all, pedophilia is dangerous to other children as well. So keeping this gentleman or any other accused in a POCSO case at liberty is not the normal course of events. There must be something special or something anticipated that maybe there will be a bail or something which will bail out the investigating officer. And I must, while sitting here, I remembered something. You know, there was a gentleman called Madani whom the Karnataka police wanted to arrest. And the matter was coming up in the Supreme Court in the afternoon. I did tell the investigating officer, look, the anticipatory bail is likely to be mentioned in the afternoon. The investigating officer was smart enough to arrest him in the morning. The anticipatory bail then became infructuous.
Law can then be interpreted depending on the situation that you are in, and most often than not, it is the political situation that determines action. Well, we are counting the hours. It's about 151 hours since this charge has been made, but is everybody in Karnataka waiting for the case of the anticipatory bail to come up tomorrow in court to decide? What about justice to those minor girls who have made these allegations? The question is all about the victims. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll keep following this story when the anticipatory bail comes up tomorrow in court. Till then, satisfactory lookout circulars is what the government says it's doing, and that's the action that they've taken. Is it enough? Well, the jury is still out. Thank you very much for joining me on the Newshour tonight. Good night. Be safe.
You were watching the Newshour at 9. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to this Times Now special broadcast. In today's episode of Inside Karnataka, we discuss about the upcoming BBMP election. What do these polls mean for the citizens of Silicon City? What's at stake for the political parties? We give you all these details and much more in the next half an hour of this special broadcast.
Bengaluru, the capital city of Karnataka, has a robust culture of civic activism. It's also an IT hub and in many ways a symbol of the vast strides India has made in the last few decades in the field of technology. It's a cosmopolitan city attracting talent from all parts of the country, a huge recipient of foreign investment, and a place that also stands out for its pleasant weather and greenery. But there are serious questions to be asked of the city's civic governance. Is Bengaluru's infrastructure really commensurate with its status as an international city? What of those tasked with the responsibility of ensuring an efficient municipal administration? Why is it that Bengaluru continues to be afflicted by serious civic apathy, not on the part of its citizens, but its administrators?
When it comes to the BBMP elections, and of course with the elections around the corner, we definitely have to talk about politics, and we have. But what are the core issues that plague the BBMP? What are the problems that the Bangaloreans really want addressed? To talk more about this, I have two prominent Bangaloreans here with me. Srinivas, who's a very prominent civic activist from Bengaluru with Janagra at the moment. Also Ian Faria, life coach, and also...
You're watching the Newshour at 9. The Newshour at 9 will be right back after the break.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
Good evening and welcome to the Newshour at 10 agenda. I'm Madhavdas Krishnan. From Assam to Uttar Pradesh, Madrasas are on the radar of state authorities. In Assam, in a third such crackdown within a month, a madrasa in Bongaigaon was demolished over the alleged misuse of premises for reportedly carrying out jihadi activities. This came after an assistant teacher of the madrasa, Jaharul Islam, was arrested for his links with terror outfits Al-Qaeda and Ansarul Bangla team. Now, even as a crackdown on madrasas that have allegedly become terror hubs in Assam continues, the UP government has decided to conduct a survey of unregistered madrasas in the state. Minorities Minister Danish Ansari says that this is as per the recommendations of the NCPCR, calling for taking stock of facilities and funding of these minority institutions. But the MIM chief Asudin Owaisi sees a communal color in this corrective step, drawing parallels with the NRC and alleging an Islamophobic ploy.
मंशा स्पष्ट है कि हमने जो अपने मुस्लिम यूथ से ये वादा किया है कि उनको एक अच्छी शिक्षा व्यवस्था हम देंगे, उनको बेहतर भविष्य देंगे, उस वादे पे हम पूरी ईमानदारी से खरा उतरना चाहते हैं और हमारे हर कदम हमारे उस वादे की तरफ बढ़ता हुआ हमारा कदम है.
Why not such a survey is being done to all Vidya Mandir, Saraswati Shishu Mandir, private schools in Lucknow? Why not a survey for Uttar Pradesh government schools, especially girls schools? How many girls schools have toilets? Electricity facility, how much is there? This is a survey done to, it is a targeted survey against the Muslim community. You want to use those survey findings to harass them in the future, which will be a violation of Article 30. That is why I had called this survey a Chota NRC, a small NRC.
And facing allegations of targeting of Muslims, UP government has cited the NCPCR recommendations from a March 2021 report, where it suggests the mapping of all unrecognized institutions to identify out-of-school children and to ensure steps to extend the RTE to minority institutions.
साफ साफ बात यह है कि बच्चों की सिचुएशन पैथेटिक है, बच्चों की सिचुएशन वहाँ पे अच्छी नहीं है. यहाँ तक कि हमारी रिपोर्ट ये भी बताती है कि वहाँ जो सिलेबस है वो सिलेबस औरंगजेब के ज़माने में औरंगजेब का बनवाया हुआ है जो वहाँ पे चल रहा है. इन सब स्थितियों को देखते हुए ओवैसी साहब का वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट क्या है इस सब में, ये समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है. मैं आपको बता सकता हूँ कि मदरसों के नाम पर एक बड़ी फंडिंग कलेक्ट की जाती है, जाहिर है जिसका इस्तेमाल बच्चों के लिए नहीं हो रहा है. और ये जो धर्म के नाम पर राजनीति करने वाले लोग उस पैसे का इस्तेमाल खुद के फ़ायदे के लिए करना चाहते हैं. अगर एक बार मदरसास की मैपिंग हो जाएगी, दूध का दूध पानी का पानी साफ साफ हो जाएगा, तो ऐसे लोगों का धंधा बंद होगा. तो खुद के अवैध धंधों को चलाए रखने के लिए वो इसका विरोध करते हैं.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's go across to our guest now. Joining us for more on this is Sriraj Nair, National Spokesperson of the VHP. Firoz Bakht Ahmed is a former VC of MANNU. Subuhi Khan is an activist. With us also is Zeba Yasmin, spokesperson of the SP. Aminul Islam is a spokesperson of the AIUDF. Atikur Rahman, Islamic scholar, is with us. We also have with us Tausifur Rahman, a political analyst. Let me begin with the spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Yep, Zeba Yasmin, why is there a protest to this? The BJP is asking, when an NCPCR report, a study has been done last year, and it is on the basis of the study and the shortcomings found in the education system that they have decided to go ahead and press for these reforms. They are collecting data so that improvements can be made in the infrastructure and the curriculum, so on and so forth. Is there something in theory that one can oppose this kind of a move with?
There's nothing to protest against it. If it is for the betterment, as you're saying, just for the improvement of madrasas and all, if it is for the betterment, then there are other institutions as well which has to be surveyed. All the institutions, all the holy places, it should be, surveyed. Why only targeted on madrasas? If this survey is just to find legal, illegal, then it is okay. But if you want to build up a perception, as many of the BJP spokesperson and leaders I've heard, they keep on telling that, some kind of training goes on in madrasa. So if you want to build up a perception, then yes, it is wrong. Because madrasa is to teach good it is to give good teachings to the student. And if you find any building legal illegal, then it is up to you to take the decisions according to the laws. But yes, building a perception against madrasa, that is absolutely wrong.
All right, yeah, building a perception against madrasas, that's what's happening, Subui Khan. Is that correct in your view, that it is just about perception building against madrasas, you know, some kind of fear mongering happening, as OAC suggests, a mini NRC? Is that what is happening here?
First of all, I want to say what exactly is the hoo-halla all about. We are only talking about the survey of madrasas. At least let us find out 15,600 or approx 15,600 madrasas are registered with the Madrasa Board of Uttar Pradesh. And there are many madrasas which are not recognized by the government. So the government is only trying to find out the madrasas which are not recognized, who are running those madrasas, what are they teaching to the child, how they are arranging the funds. And let me tell you, when we talk about the reports of NCPCR, we should also be concerned how these kids are being treated. The spokesperson who was speaking before me, she's a woman. I want to tell you, all of us know, like just few months ago in Kerala, a Muslim cleric was booked, tried and convicted for sexually exploiting an 11-year-old Muslim kid. Are we not concerned about the safety of those children? There is no perception which is being made against madrasa. We are only concerned about
that the Babas and the Sadhus
sitting.
We'll come to you, sir. We'll come to you, sir. We'll come to you. Let her finish. Let her make her point. There's plenty of time for you to come in. There's plenty of time. Please hold on to your thoughts for a minute.
Just one last point.
Let's not do this. Let's not shout over each other. There's plenty of time, and this is much too serious an issue for us to have a frivolous debate on. I'm requesting you all to hold on to your thoughts, whether Tausif or whether we're talking about Zeba Yasmin. Let Subuhi at least complete her point. Quickly, Subui.
Yes. I want to reiterate the fact that kids who are going to madrasas are poor kids who are our kids only. They belong to Bharat. We should know how they are being treated. Who are if people are indoctrinating their minds, if people are brainwashing them, we must know. And I want to ask Asaduddin Owaisi Sahab, how many Vidya Mandirs or Mats or Gurukuls are being used by foreign funded organizations to run an anti-India campaign? How many of them have been used to indoctrinate, make them Bharat and make them stand against their own country?
Okay, Tausifur Rahman, very pertinent questions coming in from Subui Khan. She's saying that in Assam in particular, we have seen in recent days, there have been arrests that have been made of over 37 individuals since March. Over 7 of them were preachers, they were imams, they were muftis, etc., who have been arrested, and they are all people who unfortunately had links to big terrorist organizations, whether it is ABT, whether it is AQIS. Now, these are not small terror groups. And therefore, there is a fear that, you know, the innocent minds could be corrupted by those who have a devious intention. And that is what the government has at least done in the case of Assam. That's the argument coming in from the earlier speaker. Your response to that?
No. Sir, anywhere the mosque, the madrasa, the dargah, the imam bada, the idan has become a terror spot. Since 2014, I don't understand anything which is related to Islam, which is related to Muslim has become a terror era. Why don't you go and house? Why don't you go and survey Nirmal Baba's house? Why don't you go and survey the satsang which is having a fraud case worth rupees crores and crores? Why only madrasa? Why those little kids, innocent kids have been seen like Atangwadis? Why, sir? Why? The problem is not that where is illegal and legal entirety. The problem is that why do you want to survey only madrasa? See,
so you feel that it is beyond reform. You feel that it's a perfect education system. There is no requirement of any reform. No, Tausif, you feel it is a perfect system of education. There is no need for any scientific education. There is no need for upgrading the syllabus.
How many offices you have in India?
No, one second, Tausif.
How many illegal buildings you have in India?
Tausif, listen to my question.
Parties you have in India?
Listen to my question, sir.
Carom board and playing tash and cards over there. Why do you only want to build the madrasa, and why do you only want to do the survey in madrasa?
Yes.
Why?
So listen to me. Listen to this
Just
question.
Because we are Muslims, why aren't we not talking about Akhand Bharat? Why are we not talking about the 32 pages of amendment which says that...
Tausif, I have not called you here for a monologue. Please listen to questions and respond to them.
Sir.
One second. All right, you do not want to take questions. Let me go across to the next guest. Firoz Bakht Ahmed. We are being targeted because madrasas are being targeted because they are associated with Muslims. That's the argument of Tawseef. He doesn't want to take questions, but that's the one line I could understand from the huge rant that he went on. Please respond.
All right, let me tell you, am I speaking to Mr. Madhav?
Yes, this is Madhav here. Go ahead, Mr. Ahmed.
All right, Madhav, let me go ahead. I have listened to all my co-panelists, and very humbly I would request all these co-panelists, my learned co-panelists as well as Madhavji yourself, just give me 1.5 minutes in the sideline. You see, as far as whatever I heard, either from Mr. Owaisi or from my younger brother Tawseef Saab, in fact, these madrasas have not been, this inquiry is not made about these madrasas because these are madrasas, these are Muslim institutions. There are some Hindus also who come and learn good things there. It is a very false perception, right? Whether it is a madrasa, it is any school, it is mosque, it is khanqa, it is any temple. If it is built on some land which is not paid land, which is a government land, private land, if it is illegal, well, people talk about bulldozers, number one. Number two, as far as madrasas are concerned, to my knowledge, I think there are 3 lakh madrasas all over India. Most of them are unregistered, some of them are registered, as Subui was also telling. However, these madrasas are actually run on shoestring budget, and people in the vicinity, in the local community, they bring, sacks of rice, maybe flour, certain eatables, and this is how they survive.
Right.
Now, having said that, I believe that madrasa education should be modernized. Just a minute, let me complete, 5 seconds only. If madrasas are not modernized, if they don't go ahead, India will remain behind. So
Okay.
it is the need of the hour that, apart from religious education, secular education is also introduced in these madrasas of Hindi, English, geography, mathematics, science, even sports. Lastly, I was just breaking fast at a madrasa, and I was having this khajur, this date. I told the children, okay, children, what is there in khajur? There is calcium, and this gives us a lot of energy when we break our fast. So they felt very interested. So we have to give them proper scientific education. We have to
Atikur Rahman, is there any way that you can disagree with what Mr. Firoz Bakht Ahmed just said? Because scientific education, modernization of education, now this is not restricted to any one particular religion or any one particular curriculum. All of the educational boards, whether it's CBSE, whether it's ICSE, all have periodic reviews. They all have to update their syllabus and curriculum, and all want to impart a scientific temper. One can have a religious education, but surely it has to be upgraded with the needs of time, changing modes of society, and also technological and scientific updatements. Can anyone argue with that? Because that is also the basis of what the NCPCR report last year has suggested. Is there anything wrong in theory there?
Madhav, that's very much correct that Indians should impart an education which is based on a scientific temperament. What we are questioning, Madhav, is purely speaking that the constitution still is functioning in India. It is not under suspension, so we demand equality. Second point, we are not living in the times of Aurangzeb, wherein we are having a despotic leader or a king who orders a demolition of a temple or a mosque and it is demolished. Third point is, the people who are demanding surveys or demolition or charging the madrasas with terrorism are the people, basically the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh and Assam. They are known to be anti-Islamic, anti-Muslim, full of rhetorics against the Muslim community. So, herein the trust deficit is a very main issue.
The problem, Atikur Rahman, with that is this. The problem, and please listen to me. And please listen to me, because I hope you will not behave like Tawseef, who refuses to take questions and wants to go on a rant. I'm just going to read out to you some recommendations of last year's NCPCR report. I'm sure you would have read the same. It says 2 or 3 very important things, and please hear me out. It says that the RTE benefits are not reaching Muslim students. It also goes on to say that the condition of these institutions, of the students and teachers training, and their testimonies are there to the effect that the condition of these institutions is deplorable. It also goes on to say that as far as the Muslim children out of school is concerned, there are 1.5 crore and madrasas are just about 6,000. Now, in this kind of a scenario, with these kind of findings, can anybody actually refuse the need for reform and the need for a survey which would form the basis of reform? Why is it selective if there is such a glaring need for it?
Madhav, I fully agree with you. Madhav, my friend, I fully agree with you, and we have scores of other examples in UP, in Bihar, in other states of India, wherein we have found the schools, even in UP, there are ghost schools. If we have, sent the inspectors to these schools, the children do not have, 6 standard students, do not have a correct table of 3 or 6. As Mr. Feroz Ahmed Bakht was pointing out, that children are not knowing the spelling or the meaning of calcium in a khajur. In a date, tell me, I'm
sorry, I have to interrupt this broadcast. There's a big breaking news coming in. The rape accused Murugha Mutt Seer Shivamurthy has been arrested. That's a big development coming in that we're breaking over here at the Newshour agenda. Big development indeed. In fact, after 5 long days, now the rape accused Murugha Mutt Seer Shivamurthy has been arrested. We believe it's by the Chitradurga police. We will wait for more information coming in on this, but big development at this moment. The Murugha Mutt Seer Shivamurthy has been arrested, and this is after a huge amount of outcry about whether there was some kind of political protection that this individual, who's a very, very powerful seer, has been receiving. Remember that POCSO cases have been invoked. At least 2 minors have complained officially to the police. A complaint has been registered in Mysore, and that complaint, of course, later being transferred to the Chitradurga district, about 200 kilometers from state capital Bengaluru, where the mutt is located. And of course, despite the fact that these cases had been registered, we had seen political leaders making a beeline for this mutt. Let's go across to Deepak for more on this. Deepak, take us through where the seer is at the moment. Has he been taken away from the mutt? Is he at the police station? What's happening, Deepak?
Well, Madhav, the entire operation by the police at this point in time, as far as picking him up, was very covert. I was at the mutt just about 10 minutes ago. Now, there were no police vehicles which you could identify. It was a whiteboard vehicle. We believe that he was picked up in. We're of course waiting. There were a couple of vehicles that moved out of the mud, almost in a manner that nobody would suspect that they would be picking up an accused. Now we are heading straight towards the hospital where there could be a medical examination done, because we also picked up information that at the hospital there were certain arrangements being made to ensure that if there was a person, high profile person who would be visiting the hospital, all the arrangements should be in order. So we are heading towards the Basveshwara Medical College. That's where we believe he could be taken. As of now, the police have just confirmed to Times Now first that they did confirm he has been picked up. I have in fact got a confirmation from the top senior most police official in charge of this particular investigation that he has been arrested. So this is the latest information that we've got. This is a big development coming in. Accused number 2, Rashmi, was taken into custody a little while ago. Right now the update that we are getting.
Stay with us, Deepak. Mr. Dandi Parshuram, who's in fact one of the initial complainants in this entire matter. What can you tell us? What is the latest information that you have? According to our reporter Deepak, the seer has been arrested. Do you have a confirmation on the same?
Yes, of course. He's arrested now. Hello?
Yes, sir. And has he been taken to the Chitradurga police station? Where has he been taken? Is he expected to be produced in the court now? What's likely to happen, Mr. Parshuram?
I think so. Because of the Chitradurga Murugha Mutt Swamiji is a very powerful person. They did not want to integrate in the police station. Immediately they take to the in the front of the judge. This is things are happening for us, sir.
Right. And sir, do you feel that even though this arrest has come, it has come a bit too late in the day? This should have happened being a POXO case, I beg your pardon, with serious implications and of course the maximum punishment possible. In that light, do you think that the police have dragged their feet because he's such an influential person?
Yes, of course. He is police officers drag the whole things, and meanwhile, this today there is a lot of organization protesting against the police force wrong thing, and because of that, with the pressure, there is a 2 MLA of BJP people also be talking about these things because of they are telling immediately arrest, but they did not deny the arrest because of the pressure. The Murugha Mutt is a very powerful organization. Because of that, the political people did not want to trouble the Swamiji. But a lot of people was pressurizing for the legal inquiry. We also be pressurizing for that because of the government. They think, the government was thinking tomorrow morning is a big statewide protest was happening. Because of that, immediately they take to the custody because of second accused, they are telling all things. Because of that, they did not deny it, immediately they conduct an arrest.
And there have been a number of things, Mr. Odanadu Parshuram, which have been alleged. Now there has been alleged that internal rivalry within the Mutt is the reason for this, that many are saying that he is a respectable person, he could not have done this. Several devotees have, there are all sorts of reactions and conspiracy theories that have been coming out. Do you think that those conspiracy theories now will completely end with this arrest?
Yeah, no. The conference is a different thing. What the children is the first for us. That is the most important thing for us. Because of what the children was sharing the so many things for us. Because of that, always we are telling to the CBI inquiry, whatever may be conspiracy and other things. But the children is the first for us.
Right. And are the children secure, sir? Have you been able to communicate to them the fact that the perpetrator has been arrested?
Yeah.
Sir, have you communicated to the victims that the perpetrator of this, the alleged perpetrator of this crime has been arrested now and has been taken by the police away from the Mutt? Because they were present at the Mutt when the Majar was happening, when the spot inspection was happening, and the same individual was present inside the same premises, Mr. Parshuram.
Yes, of course. The police done a lot of mistake in that time. There are a lot of bhakta means and devotees also be staying there out of the premises, and they are give a jaika for the Guruji. In the front of them, they take to the victims to the Mutt. Even though their premises, Swamiji and the children also be same premises. That we also be a protest for that. Because of that, we think the police step, we did not happy with that. Now anyway, they are done good thing.
5 days is a very long time, Mr. Parshuram. Do you fear that the alleged accused could have destroyed any of the evidence or influence witnesses within this time?
No, because of it's a very difficult. Because of the only 2 children are coming for us. There is a lot of children, they have a lot of evidences. Because of that, we want to release it within another 3-4 days.
How many more children, sir? How many more children? If you can tell us, this is a big development that you're giving us, the big breaking news that you're giving us, that there are more complaints likely against the same seer. That's a big development. How many more children have come before you, Mr. Parshuram?
5 to 6 children they want to come up. Then I am immediately tell to the people, please you can go and tell to the authorities. Because of this, all those things is happen.
And have you taken these 5 to 6 children to the police, sir?
Yeah, no, we are not taking that. We can give to the advice for them.
Okay, so you're saying that you have information that 5 to 6 more children want to complain about the same seer's similar actions, similar criminal actions of sexual offences.
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling us on national television?
Of course. Yeah, that is true. Then because of that, we are always telling, and we write a letter to the Supreme Court for the CBI inquiry. for the Supreme Court Registrar and the High Court Registrar. We write a letter for this.
Are you confident now? Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, because of that, we always already we give to the registrar. The complaint we give to the registrar in High Court.
All right, you've already given a complaint on that lines to the Registrar of the High Court. We have to see,
not only me, all the civilians, we signed the petition.
Okay. And sir, are you now confident, now that this arrest has happened, that justice will be done? Because this is a very, very heinous crime. In case minors have been sexually abused, it's certainly something that is not acceptable. Do you think that by any logic, ethically, legally, morally, it is not acceptable at all? Do you think a strong message will go out now with this arrest of this year?
Another important thing, the bureaucrats and the Chitradurga CWC.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, Mr. Parshuram. I can hear you.
Yeah, because of not only Swamiji who is arrested, that is a different thing. Because of he make a crime, but the supervision authority and child welfare committee, that is a legal committee, but they did not to visit properly, and they did not to monitor properly. This is also be a punish, They did not to inquire it properly.
What do you think is the primary violation of the Child Welfare Committee in your view? You are saying the Child Welfare Committee did not act. Where is the lapse there?
There is a lot of lapse. They did not to visit the organizations properly, and they did not to monitoring even though there is no counselor in that organization. There is no counselor in that organization. Because of they did not to note that, and meanwhile they did not to conduct the meeting with the children. There is a lot of lapse for the CWC also. Because of I am always regularly I am telling this. Because of even there is a bureaucrat lapse is also be there.
That's a big statement that you're making over here. It is not just the lack of political will, it is a complete failure of our bureaucracy as well. Mr. Odunadu, I would thank you so much, Mr. Odunadu Parshuram, for joining us and giving us your perspective. Massive series of lapses that have been reported. We have Sanjay Hegde joining us. Rahul Ishwar is also with us. Naveen Chumal is also with us. Brinda Adige joins us. Deepak, of course, continues to report from Chitradurga. He's been stoic in his reporting there for the last 6 days. But before I go across to Deepak, I'll be first and foremost get in a comment from Brinda Adige. Brinda Adige, at long last, I don't know if you heard Mr. Parshuram who was speaking, and my mind was just boggled with the sheer number of violations. It's not just the lack of political will, it is the absolute red tape and lack of accountability of the babus. No counselor in a CWC, did not visit the organization, didn't even convene a meeting with the children who are the complainants. And that is obviously the reason that it has taken so long and after so much difficulty that such a prominent person has finally been arrested.
You're absolutely right. Thanks to the relentless campaign and protest by civil society organizations, networks, and certainly the media for pursuing this from day one. Otherwise, this would not have happened. This arrest could have been done on the day the FIR was filed. And like I have been mentioning at various points, the Child Welfare Committee, the Karnataka State Legal Service Authority, the Department of Women and Child, police of course, violated all the procedures. They had so much to do. First thing when you get a complaint from a child who has come away from that place is for a team from the Child Welfare Committee to go into that hostel and find out whether there are other children who might have similar complaints. Secure other children, safeguard all of them, including the victim survivor. None of that happened. They gave all the leeway to the alleged accused.
Well,
and the
absolutely.
alleged accused, along with politicians, of course, went around, bragging about his innocence and conspiracy theories and all of those kind of things. I'm glad that people in power, irrespective of their positions, their influence with anybody, realize rule of law will prevail.
All right. Well, stay with us. Stay with us. Brinda Adige, stay with us. Before I go across to other guests, I want a quick update from Deepak. Deepak, where are you at the moment? Are you, is the accused, the principal accused being taken now to the court? Is he going to the police station? What is the information that you have at this point in time?
Well, Madha, give me a moment as I just get off my vehicle. Of course, we went to the hospital. He was not at the hospital. Now we've come, here at near the DSP's office. Now he, of course, is the chief investigating officer as far as this case is concerned, the IO. And it seems like there is some sort of activity that's happening at this location. We were at the Mutt, like I told you a little while ago. I've just got information that once we left from the Mutt, trying to follow some of the cars that were moving, which we did suspect that the seer was in. After that, one of the doctors has spoken at the Mutt. He has confirmed that before he actually moved out of the Mutt, his health was checked by the doctors there. After that is when he left the Mutt. Like I mentioned, this was a complete op that was very hush-hush. The police, of course, didn't come with any of their sirens or any of their convoys or a large contingent of cops that they usually do in high-profile cases. Probably, at this point in time, they tried to ensure that as much as possible, it was kept low profile without the media glare. So as we speak right now, you're looking at, some sort of activity that's building up outside this particular office. This is the Deputy Superintendent of Police's office here in Chitradurga, where we are looking at one police vehicle that looks like the SP's vehicle that's here. There is, of course, right now some policemen who have been deployed outside as well. So definitely a lot of developments expected, because if while we have, of course, got a confirmation that it is an arrest, there will be a lot of formalities that will have to be followed. And considering, that this is a very, very prominent seer, these formalities, of course, will have to be done very meticulously. One, of course, will be the medical examination that needs to be done. What we have been told is that the medical examination will be completed in the night itself, because they do not want a situation where tomorrow, there are a lot of people at the hospital, they wouldn't want the seer to be taken, during the daytime, so they could complete those formalities today itself, and they could produce him before a magistrate tomorrow. This is the latest that we are picking up, Madhav.
All right, Deepak, I'm going to give you a chance to catch your breath, because I believe you will have a very, very long night tonight, because there's going to be a series of developments that are to take place. We'll be tracking all of those developments, and certainly, as you rightly put it, the actions of the Karnataka police are going to be under the scanner. They've been under the scanner for the past 5 days, and they're going to be even more closely watched now, because any slip up on their part is going to lead to a lot of hue and cry and controversy. Let me quickly take across the information that Deepak has just shared with us with the lawyers on our panel. Naveen Chobal, arrest taking place under the cover of darkness. The police very quietly going there. There was media present there, and 10 minutes after the media leaves, the police conduct the arrest. A doctor is taken to that location, as per sources who are telling Deepak this information, to conduct the medical on the accused at that location. Now, how often do we see such things ever happen in any arrest of even the high profile accused? It never happens with this degree of secrecy.
There is nothing secret about it. Only the care was taken to avoid any protest or any public reaction. That is the case. But coming to the point, Madhav, I am not opposing any of your views. In fact, it is highly respectable that all channels, media people, fourth state has been very vigilant about it. But at the same time, we have to understand that the law should be fair to both the sides. So there is also a political undercurrent against the seer also. You see, I think the police has been forced, the state has been forced to act against the seer only because of a pressure that tomorrow the law and order situation may arise, the situation may go out of hand. So under the pressure, they had to hasten up the arrest. Otherwise, they could have waited for the court's order on the anticipatory bail application. Of course, I am not giving any judgment.
How much more long a rope would the police have given? They were beginning to sound, and their position was, please pardon my language, but their position was beginning to look, increasingly, with the scrutiny that is increasing on them, it was beginning to look highly untenable, because you have not even picked up a person, leave alone arrest him. At least interrogate this individual. And let me begin Sanjay Hegde on that point.
Let me complete. See, your language is absolutely perfect and very dignified. There is nothing over it. What the point that I am trying to say from the point of lawyer, that courts are filled with cases, even in POCSO cases, where people are seeking anticipatory bail, and in certain cases court are granting also the relief. So it is not something new. So the police is not given the long rope, especially in the case where there can be a larger ramifications and fallout can be very disastrous for the society. So
Sanjay Hegde, there are larger ramifications that would have been disastrous, but on the face of it, the manner in which this arrest has been done, how often as a lawyer in your long career of over 3 to 4 decades have you seen this kind of an arrest happening, where everything is so surreptitious that even during an arrest the police go so cautiously, a doctor is taken to that location, if that information of our reporter Deepak is to be believed, Sanjay Hegde. Alright, ground report coming in. Sanjay, before you answer, please, quick ground report from Deepak. Deepak.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅವ್ರು ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಗಳು ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಷ್ಟೆಟ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ
ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಬಂದೋಬಸ್ತ್ ಗಣೇಶ ಬಂದೋಬಸ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಸಾರಿ
ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್
ಯಾರು ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಗಣೇಶ ಬಂದೋಬಸ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ವಿಷಯ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ
ಓಕೆ
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು
That police officer telling Deepak that he is not aware of the arrest, that he is only part of the bandobast that is happening, and of course if a bandobast is happening at 10:30 in the night and they are preparing for one that is ostensibly to take place later in the night, one can only imagine the seriousness with which the police is taking this issue, and rightly so. Perhaps finally they have become serious about this entire matter and the implications of it. Imran is now joining us from Bengaluru as well. Imran, what's the update coming in? What are your sources in the police telling you as far as this particular arrest is concerned? We can see a huge number of police personnel now who are walking out of that police station where Deepak is currently located. There is talk of some bandobast happening. Is this bandobast referring to happening in a court of law? What's going on, Imran? Please put it in context for our viewers.
Well, Madhav, as you know that the FIR was registered last Friday, and the past 6 days there has been intense coverage from Times Now over this issue. The fact that the senior ministers and even the former chief minister coming in support of the Seer, saying that it's a conspiracy and giving him a clean sheet. Now, yesterday morning, the Seer moved up for the bail. It was posted for hearing tomorrow. In between, the accused number 2 in the POXO case, Rashmi, was picked up by the police for questioning, and after which, late in the evening today, just a couple of while ago, the heavy police presence happened around the ashram, and now what we're getting to know, he's been taken into custody by the police there. He's been taken in for questioning. Earlier also Swamiji tried to abscond from it. He was picked up from the border areas, was brought in. Many twists and turns in this case. After Dalit organizations protested today, civil society groups protested today, the government realized that this issue is not going to die down. Its intense pressure is building on it, and ahead of the Prime Minister also visit tomorrow, the government did feel like it's not acting on it, so they have, what we're getting to know is that they have picked up the Swamijis for questioning there today. Now what will the questioning will be, what will they show as arrest, we have to wait and see, but at the moment very senior officials are tight-lipped, heavy police bandobast there, and what we're getting to know from the ground is that he's been arrested in the POXO case right now. This is the latest development we're getting, and this is the case which is very high profile. Swamiji is a very strong leader of the Lingayat community, which is very major community in Karnataka, and elections are next year. The government was hesitant to arrest him considering the ramifications and the political ramifications it will have in the coming elections. The opposition was also completely silent over this issue, considering the fact that they also
all right, there's a reaction coming in from Chitraduga. Let's listen in.
ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ
ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ
Personal who was speaking to Deepak a short while earlier, saying that he is not aware of the arrest. We will go back to Deepak for more on this as well. Deepak, you tried interacting with that police official who says that he is not aware of the arrest, but there is a bandobast being made. Can you give us more details? Where is the bandobast happening? Is it at the court? Is it at the residence? Is it at the mutt? What's happening?
Well, Madhav, like I mentioned, the cops at this point in time, are not revealing details at all. Now, that was a very senior level officer I spoke to a little while ago, and the same answer being given to the agency there, saying that he's here for a, Ganesh Chaturthi bandobast. Now, I've moved around almost, 15 to 20 kilometers in the last half an hour around the town. There are no, Ganesha pandals installed, and the bandobast that's happening right now is to ensure that law and order situation is maintained, because this arrest is quite big, especially in the town of Chitraduga, and they want to ensure that the situation remains calm as it has been for the last 5 days. I've been here reporting over the last 4 to 5 days. Even near the premises of the mutt, not once has anybody come and shouted a slogan in favor of the Seer. Now, they understand that if the allegations are so grave, and it's the, young women, who are, making these allegations, everyone understands that the Seer has to come out clean through the process of the law. So, while, there have been some apprehensions whether there's going to be concerns about law and order, at least that's not something that we've sensed on the ground at all. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've seen protests demanding the arrest of the Seer in Chitraduga. So, but however, police are are taking, precautionary measures. You can see there's a flurry of activity around where I am. I've just got another confirmation from a very senior police official that I asked two specific questions, whether he has been taken for a medical checkup or he's being questioned. The answer that I've got right now, Madhav, that he's being questioned, but they're not mentioning about the location where he's being questioned, and I'm yet to get an update about where that location is. And of course, at this point in time, the police do not want any sort of frenzy either with the number of people who are gathering there, or any information coming out that would lead to more people locally gathering. So this is what they're doing right now at the DYSP office. Barricading has been done. In all likelihood, he could be brought here as well. This is one of the prominent offices, police offices here in Chitradurga, and we will of course know in the next 10 to 15 minutes where he is going to be kept through the night.
Well, certainly, of course, it is a very, very challenging circumstance for not just you, but all the reporters who have been very intrepidly covering each and every twist and turn of this entire case, Deepak. I'm sure there's going to be a long night of reporting, and we will keep coming back to you for more quick updates on the story. Let me quickly, before I go back to Deepak and Imran, get in a word from our guests. When you look at these developments, Sanjay Hegde, the arrest taking place in the middle of the night, huge bandobast happening, and one can understand, perhaps it's due to law and order reasons, they don't want the situation to get out of hand. But when you look at the kind of arrangements that have been made, is this something that one ordinarily sees, the fact that a doctor goes to the area of the arrest or the location of the arrest, conducts the medical there, is that something that one normally sees?
I'm sorry. Yes, Madhav.
Yeah, Sanjay, my question, I don't think you got my question. I was asking you the circumstances of the arrest happening in the middle of the night.
Unusual. Yeah. Madhav, here you must leave it to the discretion of the police.
Okay.
They know the best thing on the ground. If they want to make a show of it, they will make a show of it. If on the other hand they want to keep things under control, they think a quiet arrest is the best thing, and they've got the man cooperating, I have no problems whatsoever that they've kept things quiet. This is definitely the area of policing and of maintenance of law and order. I won't fault them on that. The only thing is that for so long, they waited so long that this kind of caution was necessary. And had it not been for the sustained questioning of civil society and the press, this arrest may possibly not have taken place. In fact, it was on your channel that I gave the instance of the Madni case, where just before the anticipatory bail came up in the Supreme Court, the Karnataka police arrested the man in Kerala. They have done something. Whoever took that cue has done a good job. For the moment, I welcome the fact that an accused is being put through the same rigors that other accused in such cases are put to.
Right, that's certainly that's certainly a very fair way of looking at it. It is the police's discretion, because if there is a law and order situation, it is the police who have to deal with that on ground. But Rahul Ishwar, I think one point that Sanjay Hegde made is a very important one. It is that why did the police have to wait so long for things to come to such a pass, where there are protests taking place on ground in different cities of Karnataka? There are members and very prominent faces of the Lingayat community now coming out to say that in the true traditions of the Lingayat beliefs, he should submit himself, he should step down, submit himself before the investigating agencies, and if he is clean and absolved of charges, he can come back, because this is certainly a very, very serious charge that the individual concerned faces.
Nobody is saying that these are not serious charges, but only the devotees are
urging due diligence, that some kind of due diligence should be there. Today itself, Basavarajan admitted that these girls stayed in his home for 2 days. So people are suspicious whether there is any child tutoring happen, whether there is any kind of conspiracy that is happening. So only due diligence. Ramchandra Tiwari has been in jail for 7 years. He was released just 2 months back, and he was in a fake POCSO case. So there are many such cases which people have suspicion. So unfair treatment to anyone should not be meted. The only request any devotee is raising at that point was having due diligence, and that due diligence is a very important point, because POCSO should not be misused. When POCSOs are being misused, it can get a problem. And please remember one thing: arrest doesn't mean that he is a culprit. Arrest doesn't mean that he has already been convicted. Arrest is only being a part of the process, and that process should be followed. Nobody is against it. At the same point of time, branding him as a rapist, saying that police has arrested, is only filmy. That we should not do. We should wait for the court's approach and what the court says. If the case is going to prima facie stand, that is one question. Anyway, his hearing was about to come tomorrow. Maybe that will be delayed because, as Sanjay Hedgesa said, it is going to be changeover because it was applying for some kind of a pre-arrest bail or an anticipatory bail. But we should wait for the court's position before taking a position of our own, because we don't know the undercurrent of politics that has been played in the mud for so long, and there has been an allegation of conspiracy. And Basavarajan today itself admitted that the children stayed in home for 2 days. So these things are suspicious. So let us not jump the gun and let us not create a prejudice. Arrest has been a process. Welcome that police has done it. But beyond that, right now the real aspect begins, and let's wait for the court order.
All right, let's wait for the court orders. Let's look at what the courts will say from here on as far as this arrest and this particular case is concerned. Let me quickly get an update from Imran. Imran, any update on what we are likely to see happening? Is the seer likely to be brought into that location that Deepak is at, that is the DYSP's office? Is he likely to be taken to the court? Any information that the police are sharing with you at this point?
Well, at the moment, senior officials are not come forth and said, but they have confirmed 2 times now very clearly, and to my colleague Deepak there, that he has been arrested, and what now the procedure is that they can have 24 hours, they can put him for questioning, and they can take to the magistrate tomorrow. Let me remind you also, the bail application also is coming up for hearing tomorrow in the court. We have to say what the state has to say about it, but they have time to show his arrest. They'll probably be questioning and take him to the court. It's up to police's discretion now what to do. We have to wait and see what the procedure they will do. Very likely this has been given go consent by the by the state government there. Earlier we saw the statements of the Home Minister saying that he is a part of a conspiracy, most likely, and some way hinting that he is innocent in this case. But now, because of the intense pressure being built up on the ground, we saw that Dalit organizations and civil societies and the media has been constantly highlighting the fact that as prominent Swamiji Seer is being shielded by the state government. The lackadaisical attitude in the investigation has probably put the state government to the back foot, and now to have forced them to take action in this case.
All right, stay with us. In fact, Imran, Tanveer Ahmed of the JDS also joins us. Tanveer Ahmed, this is a demand that has been made by civil society, by various groups including lawyers and other Dalit organizations who have been protesting on ground as well. But political parties, unfortunately, including yours, one of your own legislators was seen visiting the mud despite these very serious charges, leading many to speculate that whether it is the BJP or the Congress or the JDS, it doesn't matter. Political parties and their soft approach is the reason that the police took so long to take action in such a significant POXO case. Tanveer Ahmed.
Madhavan, let me just congratulate your channel and a lot of channels like yours and people who are working and fighting for the right cause from civil society. Today what happened, the arrest, is because of the pressure which was mounted by channel like yours and the other people. And regarding political parties, I think I just want to reiterate what Kumaraswamy said. Kumaraswamy said that it is the girls and their protection is far more important and superior than any political party, and including ours. So let me not take any political stand, political situation today. As Basavana, the great founder of Lingayat Dharma, he says, Satyada Baladinda, Satyada Kedu Nodaya. We would like the truth to really prevail. I know Swamiji very personally. I have travelled with him. The mutt really does a lot of contribution. But however, the charges are very, very serious. And I don't think, one last point, now the politicians have to really take a back step. They should not really step in. Yediyurappa's statement saying that the pontiff is innocent and people are trying to fabricate the case. But imagine the amount of tension that is going to give it to the police who is doing investigation. Right now,
as Rahul also given from DK Shivkumar, as I was saying, legislators from different political parties went there. So it's not any one statement. Yes, that statement of Mr. Yediyurappa, of course, raised many eyebrows, but a subsequent statement by DK Shivkumar also was there, which also, of course, did not raise any questions, but in fact praised the Swami for his charitable works. But let me quickly get an update from Deepak on ground. Deepak, you've been reporting on the story. What's been happening? We've seen pictures of massive security deployment as well. Deepak, can you take us through what's happening on ground at the moment? What are your sources telling you? What's likely to happen?
Well, in all likelihood, he's, like I mentioned, he's going to be, taken for a medical examination tonight itself. They are, not going to wait till, the morning, where there's going to be a lot of people at either of the medical colleges that they could go to, the government medical college here or the Baswa medical college. Those are the two prominent places where the medical examination could happen. That's something that's mandatory, since, the police officials have told us that it's a case of arrest. This is something that they'll have to do. They're going to produce him before a magistrate tomorrow, and also we could expect now that he has been picked up. Also, the accused number 2, Rashmi here, who was sent to a government shelter home in the night. Now she will be called in for questioning tomorrow, and there could be another arrest that could come in. Meanwhile, there was a police car that I showed you while I did come to this particular place just about 15 minutes ago. That was probably the SP's vehicle, and now that's gone from here. At this point in time, like I mentioned, the police are right now ensuring that this particular arrest, the movement of this year, the whereabouts are not made very clear. And then at this point in time, they're not also divulging details as to where the medical examination will be done, where he will be held for questioning, which police station. The case, of course, registered at the Chitradurga Rural Police Station. Right. But we saw activity at the DYSP's office.
All right.
Meanwhile, the other end of this
Deepak,
particular
sorry
road...
to interrupt you, but there's an on-record confirmation coming in. In fact, news agency ANI is reporting a quote from Alok Kumar, ADGP Law and Order of Karnataka, and he says that the Chief Pontiff of Sri Murugha Mutt, Shivakumar Murugha Sharanaru, accused of sexually assaulting minors, has been arrested. The due procedure will be followed. Medical test and investigation will be done as per the procedure. He will also be produced before a judge. So therefore, that production expected. Of course, the police formally have 24 hours before he actually does it. But let me quickly go back to Deepak. Deepak, yes, back to you. Sorry for interrupting you there. Please carry on.
Yes, Madhav, like I was showing you, yes, Mr. Alok Kumar, of course, confirming what we've just broken, and he has been monitoring this particular investigation externally, as well as the SP, of course, of the area has been taking lead. You can see more officials here. They have been called in from nearby police stations. They are ACP rank officials who are just walking past us, and these are all officials who've been called in particularly because of this particular case. At the end of this road, barricades have been put up. They're not allowing any localites who are right now gathering near the police station to come anywhere close by. And in all likelihood, very soon, if the medical examination is done, he will be brought back to the very same place that we just saw, or the rural police station, which of course is a much smaller complex building, and that area probably not good enough at this point in time for questioning, and probably for even staying through the night. So it's not very clear how they're going to do this, whether the questioning is going to happen through the night, or because they have taken him into custody, right, whether they'll question him from morning after the medical examination is done. So these are details that one of the senior police officials will have to probably come out and give a confirmation on. So we are of course waiting on those details, but at this point in time, a very major development coming in, and a lot of questions were being asked over the last 5 days as to why the police have not moved in this particular matter after the statement of the two complainants were recorded before the magistrate, and after that as well, the accused number 2 as well being questioned earlier in the day, and finally now an arrest coming by. This is a big development. How the political
massive development, Deepak, and I thank you for standing and reporting continuously, relentlessly for the past 6 days, and actually seeing this, covering in each and every detail the various lapses that have been reported as far as the actions of the police, of all of those involved over there at the Mutt are concerned. But let me quickly, in fact, take this back to our guests who are with us. Imran continues to report on the story as well. But if I can go quickly back to Naveen Choban. Naveen Choban, it is of course going to be a very long night in Chitradurga, perhaps one of the longest it has ever seen, given the kind of huge police deployment we are looking at. There is going to be a medical examination. There is of course going to be the production of the accused before the judge, and given the sensitivities involved in the speed with which the arrest took place, the manner in which the arrest took place, one can only assume that the police would want to do it at the earliest possible occasion.
Definitely the police will try to move the court tomorrow early in the morning, get the custody, and before the other parties try to take some processions or take the law and order in their own hands, they will try to ensure that the message goes to the public that the seer has been arrested. But the question still arises that, of course, I am not criticizing your channel or any other channel, but it has not forced the police to act in any adverse manner. But I think the real reason for arresting him in such a great hurry is because of the threat from certain section of the society who are threatening to tomorrow create some chaos in the society, in the law and order situation to go out of the hands. So this is not proper.
How is it a hurry?
In a country of ours.
How is it a hurry, Mr. Chomal? How is it a hurry in which the arrest has happened? It has been over 5 days.
So this is not the only one.
More than 150 hours to be more precise. Sanjay Hegde wants to respond to you on that point. Was it an arrest in a hurry? Or was the arrest itself hurried? Or was the police dragging its feet? Mr. Hegde, let Mr. Hegde respond to you, Mr. Chomal. You've spoken. Sanjay Hegde now. Yeah, you've spoken, sir. Let him respond.
It obviously was not in a hurry, but what I suspect also is that with the second accused being arrested, quite possibly that she has made statements which have confirmed whatever the allegations that were levied by the girls were. And so with additional material in hand, that is what possibly tipped the police's hand as far as the arrest is concerned. So this is just speculation on my part, but once the warden of the hostel was reeled in, and it's quite possible that there must be a statement or something that she's told the investigators.
All right, that could be a possible scenario that could have perhaps led to this kind of action on part of the police there in Chitradurga. I'm going to request all our guests to please stay with us. We're going to slip into a very small break. Imran and Deepak continue to bring you minute by minute updates on the story that we've been very relentlessly reporting here. We have had over half a dozen discussions on the same story, and clearly at some level or the other there has been a lot of pressure that has been built up. We're going to slip into a quick break and continue reporting on the developments coming in live from Chitradurga.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break. The News Hour at 10. The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
Hello and welcome to this Times Now special broadcast. In today's episode of Inside Karnataka, we discuss about the upcoming BBMP election. What do these polls mean for the citizens of Silicon City? What's at stake for the political parties? We give you all these details and much more in the next half an hour of this special broadcast.
Bengaluru, the capital city of Karnataka, has a robust culture of civic activism. It's also an IT hub and in many ways a symbol of the vast strides India has made in the last few decades in the field of technology. It's a cosmopolitan city attracting talent from all parts of the country, a huge recipient of foreign investment, and a place that also stands out for its pleasant weather and greenery. But there are serious questions to be asked of the city's civic governance. Is Bengaluru's infrastructure really commensurate with its status as an international city? What of those tasked with the...
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching News Now overnight, and what a night it is going to be after Times Now's relentless reportage for over 5 days. Finally, Murugha Mutt Seer, who's been accused of raping 2 minor girls, has been arrested. And on your screens right now are the visuals, the first and exclusive visuals of the moment that everybody who had been demanding justice for the 2 minor girls in Karnataka who were studying in this Murugha Mutt was waiting to see the moment when the man was arrested. Finally, law catching up with Murugha Mutt Seer. All the patronage that had been apparently acting as a shield today fell apart. It was the pressure that was being built up by the people who were out on the streets from the civil society, as well as unrelenting reportage by Times Now and our colleagues Deepak and Imran, who have been chasing every single prominent voice in this case that matters, asking them first questions and tough questions as to why action was not being taken. Now their efforts have borne fruit. And Deepak, coming to you first, what is the latest? What do we know about where the seer has been taken, whether medical has been done or not, whether the questioning has begun or not?
Well, Priya, we can in fact now confirm that, all the procedures post his arrest is being done now, which would mean that he would be taken for a medical examination. Right now, the police not divulging details as to where he will be taken for this medical examination. Even when he left the mutt, he was not, donning the saffron clothing that he usually does. He was, draped in beige sort of a clothing. He left in a vehicle with not too many, police vehicles, because they did not want too many people to know that he was picked up at that point in time. He is being questioned, and the formalities will be followed. And also ADGP Law and Order for Karnataka, Mr. Alok Kumar, has confirmed that they will be seeking his custody as well very shortly, and that of course is going to happen only in the morning, and probably very early in the morning they could go knock at the doors of the magistrate and seek his custody as well, or whether it's going to happen in court. This is something that we are awaiting details on. But right now where I'm standing, this is the road, where there is the DYSP's office, and just adjacent to it is also the DC's office. Now, this is where, it is suspected that he could be brought in for questioning post, some of the procedures that are going to be followed. At the end of this road, as my video journalist Sunil was showing you, barricades have been put up. Some localites have begun to gather around there. The police are ensuring that, they do not make their way into this particular stretch of the road. And also, a little bit of bandobast as well has been done. Additional police forces have been called in from various other, police stations nearby, from Davangere, from Shivamogga as well. Additional forces that have come in, and procedure right now will be followed. Some more information that we are getting at this point in time is that the arrest is based on the statement of the victims. This is in fact a breaking update that we've just got, that the arrest that has been made today is based on the statement that was recorded before the magistrate under section 164 of the CRPC. This has just been confirmed to us by the senior police officials, and they're also saying that while he's going to be questioned, on each of these points pertaining to the statements that have been recorded, because the procedure that went on at the magistrate court here in Chitradurga was for about 4 to 5 hours. So several aspects were discussed in that regard, and now we are looking at some police vehicles that are making their way here. I'm not sure if they are going to enter this stretch of the road. They are taking a left from that particular place where the barricades have been put up. It's not clear whether they will come into this building right now. Like I mentioned, the police didn't have intentions of making a show out of this particular arrest, and it was done in quite a secretive manner. And even now his location remains a secret because of the kind of high profile person that he is, and they understand that there are slight concerns about how the people in Chitradurga will react. back. But however, sensing the things on the ground over the last 4 to 5 days, there doesn't seem to be any sort of unrest among the people about the seer probably being taken into custody. In fact, there have been many people who we've met who've said that while this investigation is going on, what they are looking at is arrest, because the victims, the alleged victims in this particular case, have recorded their statements. Spot inspection was done, but as far as the seer was concerned, he remained untouched. So as far as the police being worried about law and order, that doesn't as of now seem to be a big cause of worry. But nonetheless, the police want to take all sort of precautions, ensure that the bandobast is in place. They do not want any law and order situation as such,
right.
And those procedures and protocols are also being followed.
Right, Deepak, do keep track of developments. I will keep coming back to you for whatever is happening on the ground. It's going to be a long night for all of us. In meanwhile, on this broadcast, I'm joined by Lalita Kumaramangalam, former NCW chief, Rekha Agarwal, who's a lawyer, Naveen Chomal, also a lawyer, Subhash Jha, another legal expert, Pratibha Palat, an activist. Coming to you, Lalita, first. As the head of a women's rights body in the past, this delay could have been extremely damaging, because we have spoken to the NGO who had initially filed this FIR on the basis of which this man has today been arrested, and he said that there could be more victims of sexual abuse in the same month.
Look, any such delay by the police in following due process of law in any case of violence against women is bad. Insofar as the guilt or not guilt of this particular person, I think now that the police has finally arrested him, we should leave them to get on with their job. I am not here to say somebody is guilty or not, but I do think that the procedure, the legal procedure must be followed in every case. There should be no VIP or whatever other words one wants to use, a privilege that is extended to people who are accused of crimes, especially any crime. If you ask me, any crime of violence against a woman, but especially in cases as horrific and as heinous as this. It's very difficult for a woman even today in most parts of the world, more so perhaps in India, to even say that I have been raped by a man of such influence and by a man with so many followers across the board. As we have seen, politicians of all ilk, all parties in Karnataka, nobody has really opened their mouth against this man. So I think finally the outrage that was shown by everybody, especially the press and people from the public, has forced the police to act. I'm glad that they've taken him into custody, and I hope now that they do a very thorough investigation without fear or favor. I also hope that the 3 others who are accused and who are now reported to be absconding are also found quickly, and also due process of law is started against them. Now the law must take its course, and the law must do a good job. It's not easy for any rape victim to be, constantly questioned, and a lot of, and I've seen this happen, a lot of methods are used to intimidate, are used to delay, etc. All that should not happen in this case. The women in this country really need justice, and we've stopped almost believing in our justice system across the board because of the constant delays, the constant giving into pressure, etc. I hope that now finally this case goes through quickly, and some sort of time limit is also set, because that's one of the biggest things, that cases just go on for years and years, and that's not justice.
And time has been a crucial contention in this case, because while everybody says that due process of law has been followed, perhaps
they should take him into custody much earlier.
Right. Mr. Naveen Chomal, would you like to take that question? While the due process of law was followed, did it take perhaps a tad bit too long for it to be concluded?
No, Priya, absolutely not. See, let me explain as a lawyer. In our country, there are certain laws which are very wisely drafted. For example, cases like POXO or atrocities on the backward classes or even rape cases, it is the duty of the police officers. They cannot turn away the victims. They have to register the FIR and start the investigation. But when to arrest is ultimately the prerogative of the police, and there is no haste prescribed either by the law or the Supreme Court. In fact, the Supreme Court has always been very prudent in laying down the law, that while there is a power to arrest, the need to arrest is also a very important factor to be considered, and when to arrest. So in these cases where there can be certain ramifications and far-reaching consequences or a devastating effect on the image of the person who is accused. So being fair to him, the police is also required to have certain circumspection. They have to understand the entire matter, satisfy that there is a prima facie case against him. I'm not saying case beyond reasonable doubt. It is prima facie and that there is a case and he needs to be arrested. So I think in this case the police have done a proper job. There must have been an uproar against the police. Of course, I'm not criticizing the media, but I'm talking about certain sections of society because there is also a political undercurrent to it. And we have seen Mr. Baswaraj is under the scanner, under a doubt that he is also tutored the people.
You might be actually underplaying it if you say there was a political undercurrent, because there were very overt gestures made in this case of political support to this man. But I will come back to other guests on that point.
That has been used against the seer. He is being shown in the bad light because of political support in his favor. He has been presumed to be guilty.
Sir, I think if the seer faces POCSO charges, there is enough bad light on him already. Politicians making a beeline to support him doesn't add to that or make it any worse. But I will come back to that and I will tell our viewers how that is important, what the perception goes out. Because when we spoke to the NGO who had filed this complaint, here is what they had to say about these developments.
Police officers drag the whole things, and meanwhile this today there is a lot of organization protesting against the police force wrong thing, and because of that with the pressure there is a 2 MLA of BJP people also be talking about these things because of they are telling immediately arrest. But they did not deny the arrest because of the pressure. The Murugha Mutt is a very powerful organization. Because of that, the political people did not want to trouble the Swamiji. But a lot of people was pressurizing for the legal inquiry. We also be pressurizing for that because of the government. They think, the government was thinking tomorrow morning is a big statewide protest was happening. Because of that, immediately they take to the custody. Because of second accused, they are telling all things. Because of that, they did not deny it. Immediately they conduct an arrest.
There have been a number of things, Mr. Odanadu Parshuram, which have been alleged. Now, there has been alleged that internal rivalry within the Mutt is the reason for this, that many are saying that he is a respectable person, he could not have done this. Several devotees have, there are all sorts of reactions and conspiracy theories that have been coming out. Do you think that those conspiracy theories now will completely end with this arrest?
No. The conference is a different thing. What the children is the first for us. That is the most important thing for us. Because of what the children was sharing the so many things for us. Because of that, always we are telling to the CBI inquiry, whatever may be conspiracy and other things. But the children is the first for us.
Right, and are the children secure, sir? Have you been able to communicate to them the fact that the perpetrator has been arrested?
Yeah.